Welcome back to episode 51 of the Jiu Jitsu Dummies podcast, everyone. Sponsored by Fight Back CBD. Get 20% off your CBD order at fightbackcbd.com with code JJD. My name is Milton Campus. I'm a purple belt out of Fight Sports Coral Springs. You can check me out on Instagram at Uncle Milty BJJ. We got Bo behind the camera. Say hello, Bo.
Hello, Bo.
And then joining us today, second time on the show, John Way from John Way Martial Arts.
That's
Welcome.
right. Thank you very much for having me back. I'm pretty excited. Last time we had to do this online, right?
On Zoom. On Zoom. You're not special.
Man, that's it. I'm out here, man.
Bye. See you later. We never wanted to do Zooms. I always wanted it to be. So I am absolutely going through anybody that's been on the show before. I'm asking them to come in because I want to meet them. We had a great episode. I think that it was well received. We had a lot of fun. So I absolutely wanted you to.
Thank you very much for having me back. It's so much better being in the studio talking face to face.
Yeah, man. And the delays, and especially when we have a few people, you're with the Zoom and the delay. It's just like, oh wait, what'd you say? Oh wait, let him go. It's not fun.
Yep. And especially wearing the AirPods.
Yeah, right.
Couldn't hear well.
So, let's not worry about what we spoke about last time.
Okay.
We might be talking about some of the same things. A whole new, set of listeners. A lot more people, listening and watching the show. So let's go into your start in martial arts, which goes back. I mean, you just told me how old you are. I was like, mind blowing how old you are, John.
You have to bring that up first, huh?
I mean, you don't look a day over 50. So I mean,
Thank you very much. Well, yeah, I just turned 56 last month. So I'm gonna get it out there right now, okay? Because he's busting my chops about it.
I'm not far behind.
How old are you really?
No, 56.
Oh, you're 56. I'm joking. I thought you just said you were 50.
You thought I was
lying. That's unbelievable.
Well, 50 add a couple of years to it.
Oh wow.
It doesn't matter. Bo knows. Once you're in 50s, it's a new 40s.
It's all downhill.
30s.
I hear it's all downhill.
You start counting minutes,
Yeah.
Well, I always well, listen. Once I jump on the mat, I get warmed up. I'm 21 again.
Yes.
It's incredible.
Funny enough, like something's up with my arm, but when I'm rolling, it's like completely gone. I don't feel it. As soon as I stop, I'm like, oh man, my arm still hurts. What's going on? I don't know what it is about the adrenaline or just the mindset. It's just like everything else is gone. My back doesn't hurt in those few minutes.
I don't know. It's something. I mean, when you're training, it's not like any big thing. Somebody put you in an arm bar, you didn't tap. Okay, It's like just turning the wrong way. You're like, oh crap, something went wrong there. So, hey, you look pretty good, 48.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't. Let's say the body feels 48. I feel like 18 in my head. My mindset is I just feel when I look at myself in the mirror, I still look at the same. Young punk.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, that's the way I feel, and I'm happy about that.
I feel that 18 too. Yeah, you're 18.
What'd you say?
I said I feel you're 18.
Yeah. And I raised you 20. I mean, I feel like I think usually what makes me feel my age is when I'm like rolling with somebody who's maybe half my age, then they make you feel.
That's right.
Especially somebody who's like maybe like a blue belt or higher, and they know what they're doing, and then it's just like, holy crap, that kid is strong. Or it's like, and I like to see their face when they think they just beat somebody that's pretty close to not pretty,
right.
Maybe 10 years older than them, and then they find out how old I am.
Well, when when you roll with young kids, they don't look at you and you go, hey, here's Milton. He's 48. Let me take it easy on him. And I'm a blue belt, and let me just take it easy on him because he's a little older. No, they're going to come after you.
No, there's not a lot of there's not a lot of let me take it easy on him. He's an old guy. Me and a couple of the guys at the gym the other day were talking. Coach said something about like adding some classes or whatever, and I was like, maybe we can get him to add a 40 and over class because I'm like, these young kids. When we came back from the pandemic, it was like a sea of white belts. I think maybe we talked. I don't know if I had just started training around the time we spoke last time, and I went in there and it was just like all white belts. But all like grown men under 30 white belts,
right.
Like linebacker, wrestler, cop. It's just like, oh my God, I got to fight these guys. And I hadn't, because of my knee, I hadn't worked out a lot, hadn't trained for a good 9 months. And here I come like, oh, this is going to be rough, you know. And I've just started to feel like back to my old self, like the me the day before I went into, like I blew out my knee the day before I went into quarantine for work. You know, Spencer started working at home, so the timing was like that was Sunday, messed up my knee. Next day I was going into quarantine. And I didn't see the mat again for
well, you
9 months.
get that question a lot, you know, when you're old and you're training jiu-jitsu. And one of my main goals when I'm on the mat is I don't want to get hurt.
Yeah.
You know, so you got to watch how you move. And because once you're hurt, you're out for a while. You don't want to be out, you know, for several months. You know,
what do you tell people? Like I still see it online. I mean, we all say it like jiu-jitsu's for everybody. You're never too old to start. Do you believe that? I mean, you know,
I do. I definitely believe that, you know, as you get older versus like a striking art. Okay. When you work in a striking art, when you get hit, that shit hurts, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know, hitting the arm, hitting the leg. With jiu-jitsu is a different kind of pain.
Yeah.
You know, it's like soreness, but it feels good, you know, and it keeps you limber. And I definitely think, you know, with the right team and the right coaching and the right environment, you know, anybody can train at any age.
Do you separate, like, you know, do you separate people by age, gender, you know, like when they're rolling?
No, we mix them together. But, you know, if I'm running the class, I pay very good attention to, you know, the females, obviously, the white belt.
You're probably not going to put an 18-year-old kid with a 40-plus-year-old mom.
No.
If they're the same level.
Exactly.
Right? You're not going to.
Men are very weird, you know. They'll start slow, but then if the female has some skills, you see them start pounding. We got so much pride. Like, there's no way we're going to let this female beat us. Welcome to jiu-jitsu. Females beat men all the time.
Yeah. Oh, that's never happened to me, but
yeah.
You know, so I hear it sucks.
Listen, you're from fight sports. I know you've been beat by a female before up in Coral Springs.
We've got some tough girls, man. I'll be honest with you, the toughest role of anyone that I roll with at purple belt or lower is a female.
Wow.
Is a female there. She's one of the coaches there. Mm-hmm. She's the hardest role. And I tell everybody.
Technically,
she's technically and she's freaking strong. Wow. And she's very strong. And she's, you know, she's definitely my toughest role. Shout out to Flo. She's very skilled. You know, she was a coach, so you know you get that. You're teaching kids all day.
Right.
You know, you kind of, your jiu-jitsu goes to a different place when you're coaching. You know, you could do a move and do it wrong, and then not even realize it, or maybe you don't do it perfectly, but then you start teaching other people, and you're like, oh wait, your foot's supposed to be here, and you're like, oh shit, I don't put my foot there. Oh, I got it. Like, you fix the little things about your own game. I coached for a little bit at white belt and into blue, because the gym that I went to that I started at was brand new. So he was, as soon as he saw that I liked to coach and teach, he'd have me, you know, running the warm-ups and doing the class. And sometimes he couldn't make it. A small gym, sometimes he couldn't make it, and he'd have me. He's like, "Can you open?" Right. I'm like, a white belt opening this school and doing the kids and then the 2 adults classes.
Well, you learned a lot.
It was. I feel like my jiu-jitsu was more technical when I coached. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm definitely better now, years later, but it was more technical because my basics were just down. You know, you're always teaching people, you know, whites and brand new people off the street. So my technical jiu-jitsu was I felt like was a lot more on point.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important. I think every martial artist should at some point start teaching, because you learn to break it down. You know, in your head you got to break it down. You can't just go, "Hey guys, here's the arm bar, just do it. Watch me." You know, you got to go step by step, and that's how they learn.
Yeah, right there. Like sometimes you fix your own jiu-jitsu when you're doing that.
Correct.
So a guy comes in 60 years old off the street.
6 or 60?
60 years old. Says, "I heard jiu-jitsu's for everybody." What do you tell that guy?
Listen,
come on in.
Yeah, come on in. We'll put him in class, and you know, just keep a close eye on him. You know, make sure he can physically do some of the things. I mean, even guard. You know, 60-year-old. You know, can they sit down on lay on the back, cross their leg? I mean, there's a lot of things you got to look at, and we try to pay really close attention to it, because you want them to have a good experience. You don't want to let them come in, right, and roll with a young guy and get smashed, and that's your jiu-jitsu.
They're gone. Yeah. See, I think that as a business owner myself, I recognize that I have to be careful because my coach is still running a business. Mm-hmm. I know when I see somebody coming in, some people look at it, fresh meat, you know, great. I'm going to beat that guy. I'm going to be better than him. I look at it as, I'm going to grab that guy, take him to the side, maybe, you know, show him some basics while everybody else is rolling, because that's that's how my coach is going to grow his gym. Right. That's how the gym gets bigger. That's how we all get better. More people, more bodies. He tells a friend. I don't think everybody realizes that.
Well, I
sometimes
think
it has to be.
Yeah, more and more nowadays. I think there's more and more professional jiu-jitsu gyms out there. They know how to handle the customers coming in, the white belts. I think that's changing a lot because that's, it's pretty natural for, BJJ the way it has grown in the last, 10 years. I mean, people are being more professional about, teaching how they teach white belts, having some sort of enrollment system to bring them in. Yeah. I think it's fantastic because once, especially the older crowd, once they start training, they're dedicated. They go to work in the day. They have their routine. They go train jiu-jitsu at night. It's good for everybody.
I'll say this. I sound like a broken record, but I tell people, like, you love it or you hate it. I think we even said that when we spoke last. You love it or you hate it. So even it doesn't matter what age you are. All of a sudden you're like, wow, I like this. I need to do this more. No matter what the age you want to. Like even when I'm hurt, I'm like, all right. I've learned put a day between training. Mm-hmm. Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday are usually the only days I do back to back because I can rest during the day. Where on Monday, the next day I'm sitting in a chair for 8 hours, and that's hard to recover from.
That's right.
Can't take a nap in the middle of the day. I can't just get on the floor and start stretching or use a massage gun, and start, fixing some things. And right. I've got every device known to man. I've got an inversion board. I've got the psoas.
You got the massage gun?
I got 2 massage guns.
2.
I've got them all. And, you just can't. So Saturday and Sunday, I know I can go train early on Saturday. Now I'm doing the podcast today. Like, I'm not just sitting around. Right. There's movement. I'm working. I'm doing something. This will be the ride down here, and doing this with you now will be the longest I'm sitting in one place, where on a normal Monday to Friday, it's 8 hours in a chair on the phone, selling marketing.
Right.
So yeah, I can't do it. So I know my body enough to say I can do 4 days a week. Now my wife gets me going to her kickboxing. She bought me a gift to some.
Oh, nice! You doing a little striking art? You sure?
Yeah. So Monday, Wednesday, Saturday.
I thought he was a true jiu-jitsu guy.
My coach, he doesn't say it specifically because of me, but Felipe will be like, Helio didn't train. Helio didn't do weights. Helio didn't train Muay Thai.
Right.
But that was my first love. My first love was. My dad was a huge boxing fan. Nice. So I can remember 16 years old, got into a fight, didn't really know how to handle myself. My dad was a cop. He didn't really he didn't train, he didn't teach me how to fight. Like, it was just like, don't get in fights.
Right. That's right.
Don't get in fights. If that's something bad happening over there, you're over there. Okay. So didn't really know how to take care of myself. Tried a little bit of karate when I was a little kid. Didn't like, the sensei hit a little kid, just the bad kid in the class. He punched him in the stomach, and that was it. I was out. Sprained my thumb in gymnastics, which is what I loved. I really took to. And it gave me an excuse not to go back to karate. So then that was done. And then I tried some taekwondo when I was older. And then
so you got a lot of experience there.
But like, we're talking months. There was like just patches of months throughout. So I didn't have a lot of experience with sticking with something. And then got into a fight, got my ass handed to me. And then my buddy had a punching bag, so I borrowed it and I started hanging it on a tree outside on the side of my house. And that's when I fell in love with just teaching myself. Nobody taught me. I just take it, hit it. Then you got older, YouTube comes around. Then I could watch a video and like, oh, turn your hand over, the way to kick.
Right.
And I just was self-taught for so long. That was where boxing to getting my ass whipped to like just this love of boxing. Then I got into it. Come down to Florida. My friends were into the UFC. I hadn't even heard of it. Cage fight, you hear cage fight? What the fuck?
That's right.
UFC?
What is that?
And that was it. It was done for me. That's it. I've been addicted to it since then. But with jiu-jitsu, my first couple of gyms, before I did jiu-jitsu, I was at a striking gym. Mm-hmm. They did I called it CrossFit without the heavy weights, but it was centered around boxing and Muay Thai. And then a friend of the family opened a jiu-jitsu gym, and that was it. We did a little Muay Thai, but then that was it. It was jiu-jitsu. I didn't even want to know it. Weights, whatever. Working out, running, whatever. It was just all about jiu-jitsu. So that's been
that's awesome.
So for you, let's go back. So when did you start? We got into the age thing, and we didn't talk about it. What age did you start martial arts, and what was your first art?
Well, my first art was Wing Chun. I started as a teen. I love Bruce Lee, just like everybody else. And being Chinese and coming from Hong Kong, it was very traditional for you to like train one art and that's it. Like that was what was ingrained in me forever. And I love the fighting aspect of it. Growing up here, you know, you have to defend yourself, and I thought that was a great way not just to learn self-defense, but to kind of carry my culture a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, as I got older, you know, same thing. UFC came in. I'm like, I need to learn that.
Yeah.
I mean, what happens? You get taken down to the ground.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that Wing Chun ain't gonna work on the ground.
Yeah.
Okay. Those Wing Chun guys gonna hate me for saying that. It ain't gonna work on the ground, okay? You may do a little wrist escapes and stuff, but I got into it. I had an opportunity to go on a seminar with the Gracies. We talked about last time on a cruise.
Yeah.
Spent a whole week with them. It's my first experience.
So tell everybody, you were doing a commercial, right?
I was doing a commercial.
You filmed commercials with Kathy Lee. I remember.
That's
Kathy Lee Gifford, right?
That's right.
And you were on that boat doing a commercial for the cruise line?
I was flying out of. I was going out of California, and somehow this is when Gracie they were marketing left and right. You know, the school would get letters for the challenge.
Oh, they don't do that anymore.
No, they don't do that anymore. There's a lot of badasses out there now that would take that $100,000. You know, but I saw that they were having a 7-day seminar on the same cruise, so I got in contact with them. I said, hey, listen, I'm doing a commercial. I'm working there, kind of shooting with Kathy Lee, and when I'm done, can I come train? And they're like, absolutely. So the thing was, they had the mats on the top floor, black mats, and we're out in the Pacific, okay? And it's freaking hot, and you're in a gi. Okay, it's my first time in the gi, and they would take there and they would spray water on us the whole time.
Yeah.
But it was such a great experience. I mean, hanging out with Hoist and Horian, and you know, all we learned was arm bars and triangle all week.
Yeah.
You know, so I was hooked. You know, right from there, I wanted to train a little bit more, but I didn't have time. I had businesses. I just opened the school, I think, back then, and you know,
was the first school was the one here in Plantation in South
the
Florida?
first school, yeah, it's in Plantation.
Well, you're not in the same location, but
No, yeah,
as far as city, that's always been the one where you started.
That's correct. Plantation's what I picked. You know, back in I think 1998, which is a long time ago.
Yeah.
Opened the school, and you know, once I found time to train again, you know, I started training jiu-jitsu full time.
Yeah.
And I freaking love it. Like right now, I train striking still. I work with my MMA team, but you know, personal time, it's always on the mat.
Yeah.
You know, it's good. You know, age wise, it's you know, physically, it's a great workout. You go out there, you're like tired, and just love the skills, man.
I saw you put out a couple of videos on Instagram. Was it one of your daughter's birthdays recently?
Oh yes, yeah. It was just her birthday. Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw you went in the time machine there and you put some stuff of her competing when she was little. How old is she now?
My daughters are 15 and 18.
Okay.
You know, but that was back then. I mean, you know, when they're little, you know, they'll go follow you everywhere. Now I can't even get them to go to dinner with me. You know? So they used to go train with me. You know, they train gi, they train jiu-jitsu, they train striking.
So used to? They won't train anymore?
They don't anymore. I mean, once in a while, you know, I'll talk them into going into to train with me, but they know the basics pretty well.
Did they ever train jiu-jitsu? Or was this just
they
kung
train.
fu?
No, they train jiu-jitsu
as well?
They train when I was American top team. They trained with me there.
Okay.
They train gi, and it was some cool.
Yeah.
You know,
So the 18-year-old going away to school?
Yeah, she's away at school.
I've got a 17-year-old that she's a senior in high school, and haven't been able to get her to like. Even for me to be like, let me just show you this. You're going to be going away to school. It would make me feel so much more comfortable if I know you can, like, you know, do certain things. And then she'll punch me in the stomach. And then, she punches hard. My wife tries to get her to go to kickboxing. She won't go. I've tried to get her to do some jiu-jitsu. When she was a little bit smaller, I was able to like play around with her a little bit.
Right.
And like, you know, okay, grab my arm. Oh, look where you are. You choked me. Hey, let me show you. Grab her arms and do it. And she'd get all excited, but go to the gym to do it? No, she just wasn't. Yeah. I don't want to do this in front of anybody.
I don't know. Yeah. You just got to make sure they make the right decisions in college. Yeah. I thought the same thing. I was like, okay, what can I teach her right away or review? You know, is it jiu-jitsu? Is it striking? Is it, you know, working with a blade or something? Yeah. You know, I mean,
what do you think about like early on in my first school when I started to deal with parents? I started to watch videos and came across a lot of the Henner and Heat-On videos. And I came across a video that talked about how they helped the parents, how they would teach parents to make sure they got the kids to school. Because there's that age, and look, you probably know this way better than I do, but probably like 12 to 16, 17.
That's correct.
Girls and boys, right? They're discovering the opposite sex. Now it's phones and TikTok and and gaming. how hard is it to get them during that time, right? Do you have that problem with
yes.
parents and like, where have you been, little Johnny? You know,
right.
what do you tell the parents do you have like a strategy to make sure they get them there?
Well, for the younger kids, you kind of put on the parents a little bit, right? You don't give them a choice. If little Johnny's out in the yard playing football with his friends at 3:30, and you go, hey, listen, it's time to go train martial arts, what kind of response do you think you're going to get, right? So,
Mom,
that's right. I don't want to go. So,
Come
the
on.
parents have to bring them in. So, that's something you have to instill in the parents. But when they get a little older, 15, 16, 17, they make their own decisions.
Yeah.
Right? So you got to have an exciting program.
Yeah.
You got to teach awesome classes.
The, like kind of the play jujitsu thing, again, going back to the Gracies, they talked about how they were taught jujitsu and like they played jujitsu when they were 3 and 4 and they didn't really get forced to be on the mats.
That's right. That's right. So, you just always got to teach an exciting class. Make sure your team, your staff, knows that. And, make it fun. Don't make it too military-like.
Yeah.
And just, make sure they have good skills, have fun, and communicate with one another.
That one video that I remember was, I think way back, I posted it in one of the episodes. It was a jiu-jitsu black belt who was a student. I think he was sitting down with Henner. They're on the camera on the green mats, and he's talking to him and he's telling his story of what his father did to him to get him to go to jiu-jitsu, because he's a black belt now. He's like a very young black belt, probably early 20s. And he was telling the story of how his father would get him to go to jiu-jitsu on the days that he didn't want to go. And again, I'm not 100% sure that this is what his dad did to him, but this is what he tells parents now.
Right.
You tell little Johnny, when he says he doesn't want to go to jiu-jitsu, you say, look, if you don't want to go to jiu-jitsu, you need to tell me 2 days before. We're going to have an agreement. You're going to tell me 2 days before that you don't want to go to jiu-jitsu. Once we're under that 48-hour mark or 2 days.
That's it. You're on.
You're going to jiu-jitsu that day. You can't back out. Is that a deal? And they make that deal with again, I don't know if it was his father that did it with him or what he suggests. It's like, that's kind of smart, because what 5, 7, 12, 13-year-old is thinking of 2 days from now. Right. So it's just like, I would have to go because I had that deal. And that's what they were, the kind of the subject of the video was like, they made me go even when I didn't want to go. And now he's sitting there with his black belt, proud of it. I've told parents, and maybe this is wrong the way I'm saying it, but you kind of there's a time where you've got to force them to go. No, you're going. This is something you're going to do. Wagner said on our last episode, it's not a sport, it's a life skill. I'm teaching a life skill. So just like learning to swim, if you have a pool in your backyard, you're going to learn to swim. You have to. You could drown. I'm going to teach you how to defend yourself. You're going. I wish my parents made me go to karate. I wish they forced me to go back. I would have been kicking and screaming and maybe crying. But when you're in your 20s and people know, not only that good feeling you have and the confidence you have, but when people, 20 years old, you're trying to pick up girls.
That's right.
Oh, you're a black belt? Oh my God. I didn't even know what I was missing. I really wish. And then I, didn't find jiu-jitsu till I was 41. Right. But that forcing them to go, what do you think about that? What if little Johnny just, he never wants to come and it's always a problem? The parent, what do you tell the parent? So like pushing the
Well, yeah, you got to talk to the parents. You got to talk to their needs. I mean, if, little Johnny's being bullied, you got to kind of talk to them about that. I mean, martial arts, it is a life commitment. It's a commitment, not a 1 month. And especially for kids, I mean, we're a little biased because we both train. But I'll tell you, it really, in today's society and what's going on, to have an environment like a martial arts school with instructors and mentors around your kids, I mean, how much better can that be? Yeah. Right. So so part of it's on the parents. Make sure they come, but at the same time, I take responsibility myself as a gym owner. Hey, listen, we got to have an exciting class. So Joey or little Johnny. Or we get Joey. Little Johnny wants to come back and train and wants to hang out with all the instructors. So I think that's important. Whether it's jiu-jitsu, striking, kung fu, taekwondo, karate, whatever it is, it's got to be an environment that speaks to the kid, teaches their skill according to their age, which is a very important thing, and just make it exciting.
Do you work on a lot of the parents? I know, like in our school, we even on Saturdays and Sundays is basically like we cone off half of the mat, like maybe a third of the mat. It's kids on one side, and it's like their parents are on the other side, pretty much. Like so many parents train is my point.
Right.
Do you like work on getting the parents in? Like, hey, why don't you should
Right.
train?
We
Maybe
don't
that's
we
gonna
don't
help little Johnny
we
get
don't
here.
aggressively market to them, which
Yeah.
we should. Is really one of the things you can do. But we do have a lot of families that train, and it's freaking
Yeah.
awesome. As a matter of fact, I think we were talking about in our team meeting that we're going to do a couple profiles on the families where
Yeah.
the dad, the mom, the son, the daughter, everybody trains, and they come in and they do everything, and
Yeah.
it's so great to watch them. To hang out with their kids, because listen, you don't get a lot of time with your kids.
Goes by really fast.
I mean, to have the time of spending learning martial arts and your kids learning self-defense, building their confidence, learning jiu-jitsu skills, and I mean, I think that's priceless.
So you ever try to get your daughters? Hey, come to the gym.
I do. I have to negotiate with them now,
Oh yeah.
and when we do it in a fun way. I mean, back when they were younger, how I got them to train jiu-jitsu, we would have jiu-jitsu competitions at home. Now that they like.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, let's do
Feel
it.
like that. Is it because the eyes aren't on them? Like that everybody's not watching? You can kinda
I don't know. Maybe a
more
couple
fun?
things. It
Yeah.
makes it fun, and you kind of keep score. You're like,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, so and so, and but they were learning, the positions a lot better. I noticed that, so I started doing more of that at home.
Yeah. So how do you negotiate with them now? What do you do? What do you do to get them to
Well,
come
if
in?
they want to go shopping or something, let's go do a training session. And they're like, "Is there a class going on?" I go, "No, there's no class going on. Class is over. Let's go in there and train." And they're going, but once they're there, they'll go through all the motion.
Yeah.
They'll start practicing all their stuff, and I know it's just good to know that my kids have some skills.
What did they take to? Because again, you Wing Chun. You do Muay Thai there.
Right.
You do Jiu-Jitsu. What did they take to the most?
Well, Kung Fu, because it's
Yeah.
our first art, but they're very good striking. They're very good with Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
So, and I also have a stepson. He trains with me, full time.
Okay.
And it's great to see him adapt to it. He's 15 now, and he loves it. He trains jiu-jitsu.
How long have you been in his life?
I've been about 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so-
But when I say now I'm just so used to saying my daughter. I have my actual daughter who is 27.
Okay.
And lives in Virginia. She's an adult and she's a teacher. I wasn't doing jiu-jitsu or martial arts when when she was a little kid, and I was still like the part-time dad. Right? She lived with her mom.
Right.
We weren't married. My stepdaughter, the one that I'm talking about now, that she doesn't want to. I've been in her life since she was 9.
Okay.
So that's why I asked.
same thing.
So now she's 17, and I'm it's like still worked on it. She's just not into it.
That's okay, but one day she may be.
Yeah.
I'm hoping like sometimes in the future they're like, hey, I want to come train a little bit. Maybe it could be kickboxing, jiu-jitsu. I don't care.
I think just when life starts to kick you around a little bit, and you start, you become an adult and you watch the news and you see the violence out there, or maybe you start to have your own kids. I think people kind of look at it a little differently. Like, I kind of realize like I need this, and then your body doesn't react the same way that it used to. You don't lose weight. You have that pizza and you feel it, and
That's right.
It's like you might as well just put it on the thigh. Right? You get to that point where you're like, I need to work out. I mean, I would think that they would take to martial arts when they're looking for something to keep themselves in shape.
Right,
keep
right,
themselves
exactly.
sharp.
Hopefully they do. That's what
Yeah.
I'm hoping for one day.
Yeah. So we were talking before. I think we're alike in that we've always got a few things going on.
Right. Busy as fuck.
For me, it's my wife doesn't understand it. She doesn't understand how I could be essentially, have a job and run a business, or have two businesses going.
Right.
Now you have the martial arts studio. And you also have a marketing company, right?
That's
that you're
correct.
involved with.
That's
What's the name of it?
It's called F5 Digital Marketing.
Okay. F5 Digital.
Yeah.
I always look at it and I can start to say
Yeah.
effing. Right? Does everybody?
F and 5.
Effing. yeah.
That's
I'm
the silent joke in it.
Yeah. So are you mostly doing martial arts, or will you help anyone?
I have my hands in everything. My background's in markeing and business, and
Okay.
I opened the martial arts school.
You were
out of interest.
you had a recording studio.
Yeah, walking into this is reminded me. My first business was a record label.
Yeah.
And I was there for about 12 years. So there's a lot that went into that. That's the beginning of my career. And we used to have a listing room like this. So I had a little flashback walking in here.
Yeah.
Looks
I love coming here.
looks all professional. Good job there. Setting it up. But so my background's in marketing, and it's great because with the Martial Arts Academy, it's weird because you learn to put all your skills into one thing, right?
Yeah.
You can, of course, the marketing in front of the camera, behind the cameras, the sales, the marketing, the customer service, and the martial arts. I mean,
Are your clients primarily in like martial arts studios?
No,
or
absolutely
you
not.
work
Yeah,
with
we
anyone?
do.
You work with
Our
anyone?
marketing company helps business out in general.
Okay.
We gotten so good with generating leads in the martial arts business, we decided to branch out into other type of business.
I mean, I see your stuff. I mean, stuff's amazing. I follow you online,
Thank you
obviously,
very
and
much.
I look at the videos and I'm like, yeah,
Videos are everything.
if I didn't love where I was, I'm if I ever have a falling out, which I hope I never do.
That's right. That's right. Well,
and I still, I've wanted to. Again, we've spoken about this before. Like, whenever I see Wing Chun, I look at it and I go, "That's what I'm missing from my stand-up in jiu-jitsu."
right.
Is a little bit of that hand play. I don't know. I'm saying hand play.
It's hand
Probably.
play. It's
Yeah.
actually very
Yeah.
correct to say that.
Yeah, when I look at it, I'm like, oh wow, just kind of like using somebody's momentum against them. I never did judo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm too old to get thrown around, and bad back. I can't see myself going to take judo, going to train judo, but I could see myself doing something that's going to be, and you tell me if I'm wrong, a little bit easier on my body, but that I feel like is going to help my jiu-jitsu.
Right.
Do you agree?
Well, you know what? I do agree with you. I started Wing Chun as a kid, and maybe because I trained in this for so long, I took it for granted. When I first opened the school, I did not teach Wing Chun in a group class. I trained I trained it myself, and I would maybe have one or two privates. And about several years ago, I was training another martial artist. He was a black belt taekwondo. He wanted to learn Wing Chun, and he said something to me interesting. He goes, anybody at any age can train Wing Chun, John. You know that. I was like, So I started teaching in group class again, and it's weird, but during the pandemic, that was the biggest leads that came in, was Wing Chun, and but Wing Chun, in my perspective, it's very good for street defense. It's not for cage fighting. It's not to get in the Muay Thai ring, but for the street, it's very fast, very direct, and it does go with jiu-jitsu. The theory behind it is very similar to jiu-jitsu. The push and yield concept. And as a matter of fact, I was trying to make that analogy to one of my students today because she trained in my Wing Chun class, and then right away I had to teach jiu-jitsu. And some of there's similarity. If I'm pushing, you don't want to sit there and power. You want to kind of go around, and get side control another way.
Use it against them.
Yeah, use it against them. And a lot of the wrist locks and stuff. It's maybe because I train Wing Chun, but it comes very natural. I just turn my wrist.
Oh,
and
you're that guy.
I'm that guy. The wrist. No, I don't do the wrist
Don't
lock.
worry, I'm that guy.
You're that guy.
I'm that guy.
Listen, Milton, you're a good size.
There's not
man.
a lot of wrist locking, guy, but I hold you down and you go to push me up, and I give you that little.
You wrist lock them when they're in your guard.
I'll look for. Well, let me say this. As again, I'm not. Have I been a bully in my jiu-jitsu journey? Yes. Now I'll show, like, especially if it's somebody lower. I have enough sense now. If it's somebody that's a lower belt, I'll show them that it's there. I'll just give them the little hit,
right,
or grab the elbow and bring it up a little bit and let them know that it's there. And it kind of maybe goes unspoken. And in some cases they go, oh, and I'll be like, hey, you got to watch that,
Right,
and then, okay, let's keep on going. So I'm not like breaking wrists.
Right.
I'm not looking.
You're not that guy.
Whose wrist is gonna go today? But I like wrist locks.
So yeah, to answer your question, a little striking will help you. You don't need a lot. I mean, Wing Chun, creates very fast hands, works on your speed.
Yeah,
it's a good art. It's fun. I as a martial artist, I like going into my gym or any gym for that matter, and have different things to train. Not every day I want to get smashed. Somebody
It's
on top
hard.
of me. It's tough, especially at our age. My age, our age, not your age, Milton. He's 40.
Leave me out of this, John.
Huh?
Leave
He's
me
a
out
lot
of
younger than us. But, every day is a little different. And, yes, some days when you have hard jiu-jitsu training, your body is sore. And you need to recover for a day or two.
He's still got baby fat. That's what protects him.
Is he?
I hope my wife doesn't hear this one. I rolled with a girl a couple weeks ago, and she said, after we rolled, we got off, and she's talking to somebody else, and she's saying it in Spanish, and she didn't know I understood. And she was basically saying, like, "Oh my God, he was so cuddly. He's like a big teddy bear." I was just like, "Son of a fuck, what? What do you? I'm not gonna take it easy on you next time."
Did you eat dinner that night?
I was
No
like,
dinner for me,
cuddly.
honey.
Yeah, I'm gonna trim it all up. That's like my biggest battle is just is I don't eat bad food. I eat a lot of food. I eat till I get full, and I've had to get that under control. But I've actually lost 10 pounds in the last month. So I'm like, I'm on a mission.
And I gained 10 pounds.
I'm on a mission to get down. I'm about 130. I was 244 has been my heaviest. I'm down to about 34.
Oh, nice.
And I want to get around 25.
Right.
About 225.
You be fighting heavyweight.
Yeah, so
Big boys out there.
when I see those big boys,
Mountains.
I'm like, I would have to get like, I'm a UFC fan. I'd look at somebody, I'm like, they're like at 205. I'm like 205. I outweigh that monster by 30 pounds. I'm like, oh Jesus, man, I couldn't.
That's two. I think my mic went off. Did it?
Did it?
Testing?
Oh.
No, we're good.
You're okay?
Okay.
He might have just been messing.
Okay.
With
Yeah, if they're 205, they're walking around like 230, 240.
He did. Excuse me. He did get lower just in the headsets, Bo. I see it went down significantly. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying if he's 205, he's walking around at 235, 240.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's amazing.
So let's talk about UFC, martial art. Let's talk about MMA in general. You've got like a team going over there.
Oh.
You've got some guys, some amateur killers over there. Amateurs? Do you have anybody pro that
Yeah,
changed the
we
gym yet?
have both pro and amateur, and it's pretty exciting. And that's how it's funny because coming in here as I was driving in here, I was like, okay, you know what?
Wait a minute, I know those faces. I really didn't notice before. I know those faces. Those are the guys.
That's right.
That's
Those are my
David
guys.
in the front.
Wow, look at you. You know the name.
I know David. We sent him a bottle of CBD one time. He won something for the show.
Okay.
And I know the two guys in the back are two of your coaches.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
They're both
correct.
your coaches. I've been looking at your shirt going, oh, that's kind of a cool shirt. But I didn't even see the faces. Oh,
No,
those are
it's
your
pretty
guys.
cool. Some we did with XFN.
Okay.
They were like, hey, give us a couple of fighters. We'll put them, make a
Okay.
cartoon character. I was like, you know what? Put it on there. It's very cool.
Awesome.
But that's how big a role jiu-jitsu has played in my life and my martial arts career is, training and striking. And when you're watching UFC, it's like, man, I got to get that jiu-jitsu into my curriculum. And as I started learning jiu-jitsu, we started learning putting everything together. The way we used to fight, it's very similar to Muay Thai. It's called sanchao. So we had striking, punching, kicking, and takedowns. But we needed some.
You
ground
stop. Sanchao. You stop on the ground.
Yeah,
Yes.
you stop. As soon as you go
stop once
down,
you go down.
that's it. You know, and that was like Kung Lee's a very popular Sanchao fighter. I came
Okay.
from Sanchao and went into UFC. So that's how we incorporated jiu-jitsu into our program and into our training. And it's we have a fight team, and if you live in South Florida, there are some high-level teams and coaches and striking coaches. BJJ black belts are everywhere, and the amateurs look like pros. So I'm very proud of my guys, and just very honored just to be a part of that community, to be able to compete in that atmosphere, and just
You got some. Do you have the weigh-ins already, or you going to the weigh-ins after this?
The weigh-ins are probably 3 o'clock. It's probably happening right now.
Oh.
I hope David Camacho weighed in at 135. No, he did. We don't have a problem making weight. We're professionals.
Are the fights tomorrow?
Yeah, the fight is tomorrow. It's XFN. It's up in West Palm Beach.
Okay.
And David, he's his first title fight. It's a title match going for
Good
the
luck,
belt.
David. Yeah. This will come out after the fight, so.
This will come out after the fight.
On next Wednesday, so he'll.
Well,
he'll have
congratulations,
fun.
David.
Congratulations
for winning the belt.
on the win, David. Oh my God.
Or I can say, God damn it, you better train harder next time.
So XFN out of, you said West Palm Beach?
Yeah, West Palm Beach.
Okay.
And great organization. We fight for them a lot all the time.
Is it all amateur? Or is
This
that
one
a
is all
mix?
amateur. Yes,
It's all
this
amateur?
one's all amateur. So there's
Very
a
cool.
couple of title fights, and so exciting to have the guys in there because the members. It's cool because at our gym we train different disciplines. We have the Wing Chun, the Charlie Foot, the Muay Thai, MMA, and Jiu Jitsu, and the members get to see our guys fight using the techniques that we train in the class.
Okay.
So I think for them it's very cool.
So tell me, I've in the intro on the last episode we did together, I mentioned Troy Lafoot. Is that how you say it?
Troy Lafoot.
I have no clue what that is, and I didn't look it up. So shame on me. But
no
what
problem.
tell me about that discipline?
Well, in Hong Kong, the two most popular styles were Wing Chun and Charlie Foot. The Wing Chun we consider like a shorter distance, close combat. Charlie Foot's a little longer range, and Charlie Foot has a lot of the forms of weaponry in it, and that's what I liked about Charlie Foot. I wanted to find a style back then that I could compete with, and it had the forms and the weapons. I like that, but they also the way they punch like boxers, they kick like Thai boxers. So I like the fighting aspect of it, and I learned about the style.
Say that again. They do what? Like what?
They punch like boxers and they kick like Thai boxers.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
very, very similar. and I like that, so I incorporated that into my own training. So that's what Trolley Foot is.
All right. So do these guys like David? I mean, this is the career. Do they? Does he have aspirations to be in the UFC? And
every one of them, they want to get there and work the way there. And the great thing is there is a roadmap to UFC now, right? I mean, it's tough.
These are the minors.
These are the minors.
This is the minor leagues.
These are the minors.
Till you get that call.
And the bottom line is you got to win.
Yeah. Are you a fight fan? Are you a UFC fan?
Yeah.
I didn't even get to look at the card because I just moved last week and then I was preparing for the podcast, so I haven't even looked at the card.
Right.
I just know the main event. But are you a fan? Are you someone that's like, there's UFC on, I got to watch it
No,
tonight?
I'm not like that anymore. I used to be.
Yeah.
When it started with when the cages had duct tape on it, I was a huge fan. I was a huge fan. But now it's like there's a lot of fights. But I'll watch when one of the top fighters are fighting. But
that's, I mean, I don't get to watch as much. And now that I've discovered competition jiu-jitsu and flow grappling,
right
now it's like, you could spend every minute of every day and not get to watch every fight or every competition. I think there's, who's number one. Last night there was a fight to win.
Right.
There's UFC. My wife will kill me if I watch all these. I've got to get up early in the morning and put it on like the next day when I'm eating breakfast before the girls wake up. If I'm going to get it in. If I'm going to get to see everything that happened in any given weekend.
I'm on Instagram a lot. So the flow grappling is always in my feed. And once I see one video, right, I go, wow, that was a good fight. Yeah. And I'll go to the next one. Next thing you know, an hour will go by and I'm watching just jiu-jitsu for an hour.
That's that freaking. They call that the rabbit hole.
I'm actually with you on that one, because, listen, the stuff that they do on there, you're just like, wow.
Yeah.
The moves they do. And when the big guys go on it.
Yeah.
It's all.
If you're enjoying the show, please take a moment to help us thank our sponsors at fightbackcbd.com. Browse their website for a variety of applications. Find the one that's perfect for you. Get 20% off with coupon code JJD at fightbackcbd.com and check them out on social media at fightbackcbd on Instagram and Facebook.
So when I discovered flow grappling, I was just like, first thing I was like, what? $200, whatever it is per year. I was just like, what the? I had UFC Fight Pass. You have Netflix, you have Hulu, and I'm just like, I refuse to add another one.
Right.
And then we started to have guests on the show that were competing. I'm like, I have to know this stuff. I like watching jiu-jitsu. I was just being, it's like, I like training. Right. Don't love going to competitions, like watching competitions, just sitting there, it's like, this can be a little bit boring. But now I do like kind of the submission only stuff more than anything.
Because it's fast.
It's fast. There's a little bit more incentive for them to like. I like the who's number ones. I mean, I really do like those. I love fight to win as well, but now I'm a little bit more addicted to it to the point where I might have the TV on like UFC and then like a fight to win on a little
like
TV
that.
off to the side. And like I've had like literally like if you saw them out in the main room, that we have the old TVs that we had, the monitors that we used to use, the have the logo scrolls on in the studio. I'd roll one out from the studio when it was at the house, and I'd put it right next to the TV. Okay, the app is on Flow and Roll, and then Flow and Roll, that's a sponsor. And then I'd have the have it on Flow Grappling. So
nice. Well, the production quality of these shows are awesome too.
Yeah.
How they're doing everything, the lighting and stuff, and I love it. I enjoy watching it.
Speaking of which, let me give a shout out to some of our sponsors because we couldn't do this without them. So real quick, thank you to DD214 Fightwear at DD214_Fightwear. Gear for the war on PTSD. You get 15% off your online order at DD214BJJ.com. Please check out their new Soul Armor gi. It's not so new anymore. It's still on the website. It's an awesome gi. In the liner of this gi are the names of fallen soldiers. The entire liner. It's like all printed on the inside. It's really cool. Link is in the bio to all of our sponsors, but again, you can check them out at DD214BJJ.com and use code JJD for 15% of your order. Don't forget that. Warriors Next Adventure, they are a veteran nonprofit helping veterans overcome PTSD PTSD through recreational therapy. You can check them out at warriorsnextadventure.com. You can also donate on their site or follow them on Instagram, and you can donate there as well. Doing some really cool stuff. I just posted a really great picture of them. They went out on like a fishing trip. They have like some huge, I'm not sure, I don't know my fish, but like it was either a tuna or a tarpon or something, just humongous.
Really?
Like holding it up at his chest. They were out there with Chad Mendez, invited them onto to an event, and they went out.
Wow,
so
nice.
huge shout out to Flow and Roll, at Flow_N_Roll on Instagram. Get 20% off your online t-shirt, rash guard, or key order with code JJD at flowandroll.com. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share wherever you're watching or listening. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to click the bell. get notifications each time we launch a video. Yeah, this is high end here, John.
It is. This is like awesome.
This is like
I thought this was just for visuals.
$2.99 on Amazon right here.
The table nipples.
You get a notification each time we launch a new video. All right, so back to the show, everybody. So let's go back to the marketing company. So I noticed, I guess you're probably working with them as well. I saw a restaurant that you guys were working with.
Yes.
That's got a launch this month.
I believe this is their anniversary.
Okay, it's their anniversary.
Yeah.
Okay, it was like a Latin Chinese
It's like
fusion.
they call it Asian comfort foods. My
Okay.
friend Temple Street Eatery in Fort
Okay.
Lauderdale.
Okay.
Awesome. Listen, great food, great atmosphere. Go down and give them a try. It's our favorite restaurant.
There was there's something going on August 21st. There was an event. I saw it. Do you even know? Yeah, there was an event.
Pays attention.
I saw it and I said, I was like, we're not filming that day. I was like, date night with the wife.
Yeah,
I guess they're going to have some like Polynesian dancers there or something.
I
right?
believe so. There's an event going on.
I was like, all right, honey, you want to go to get? Yeah, she's like, yeah, anywhere where I can put food in my mouth is great. I'm like, all right, let's do it.
You enjoy it. My favorite there is a shrimp dumpling. So you got to get the shrimp dumpling.
Ooh.
So
I like shrimp and I like dumplings.
Oh, it's the best.
I like food.
Fresh. That's where we always go after weigh-ins. I take my guys there, fuel up, load up, get the pounds back.
So you talked about, and again, my day job's in marketing. So you said you generate a lot of leads for yourself with like the videos, right?
Right.
You're using that for lead generation online. What are you doing for somebody like a restaurant like that? Like, is it kind of still like video based? Because I see like real heavy on the video side.
Video content is very important for us because I believe in visuals. I believe, showing the customers what your business is about from the outside and inside. But, generating leads. So it could be a restaurant business, could be a chiropractor. We set up the landing pages, run the ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and make sure they have content. And you got to put out good content.
Yeah. And I kind of we started joking about the effing thing. What the name of the company again? And your company is F5
Digital Marketing.
What is it, like EFF?
Yeah, EFF. Yeah, we call it Refresh.
Okay.
We're gonna call it Refresh. We're like, nah, that sounds like a jiu-jitsu team.
Okay.
Recover.
So did you
Broken.
we're talking a lot about like the flow grappling. Did you ever think that jiu-jitsu was going to blow up like this?
No, I mean, I came from watching the Gracies and being a fan of Gracies, and where it's gone to now, it's amazing.
Yeah.
How everybody's into it. And, one thing we talked about earlier, jiu-jitsu practitioners are so dedicated. Mm-hmm. I mean, shows like this, I'll just watch all the time and go, oh my God, I can't believe, so-and-so was on the show. But it's dedicated crowd, and I think it's just going to keep growing in popularity.
I've talked about with the guy, because again, my first love was really watching martial arts, is like, how do we incorporate more MMA and other disciplines into the show? It's obviously Jiu Jitsu Dummies, and it's just like, Jiu Jitsu guys are ridiculously loyal to Jiu Jitsu.
Yes.
I said bougie on the last show with you. We're like, we just think it's the best thing ever. And I still believe that. But, I mean, we're notorious for shitting on other martial arts. Let's just say it like that. Like, we just shit on them.
Well, you did ask me on the last show. You go, listen, there's one martial arts, that I had to train or have my kids train. It would be jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I mean, one-on-one, there's no question about it.
Yeah. What would you say to somebody who's listening right now? Let's just say they don't do jiu-jitsu. A woman in her 40s.
Sure, I thought you were talking about me, man.
Yeah. Like, How do you get you've got a woman like that that's standing in front of you? How do you convince them? Do you convince them, or maybe do you get them started in one of the other disciplines that's maybe not so, I call it intimate,
Right.
Where she sees these men rolling around, like, you want me to do that with them? Nah, not for me. What's the conversation like with somebody like that?
Well, the conversation, and it's important because you got to find out what they want. And if you talk to them a little bit and ask them, hey, listen, why you train martial arts? Why do you want to train? And they say, I want to lose weight. You got to kind of go a little deeper. Everybody has a reason. The weight loss may be one thing, but it could be, maybe she had an altercation. Maybe she was in a bad relationship. And so you got to find out a little bit. Some females come in and go, listen, I want to be able to defend myself standing up or defend myself on the ground. So right away, put them in jiu-jitsu, and they're going to like it.
Yeah. I'm still, again, still trying to work on my wife. Luckily, my wife found kickboxing, and she just loves it. She's at the house right now with a couple of girls she trains with. She's like, oh, you're going to be out today? I'm going to bring them over. We're going to have some wine. I'm like, all right, good. I love that she's passionate about something as passionate as I am about this, about jiu-jitsu now, which she didn't. So it was really hard for her to understand my passion for this because she didn't have a passion like that. Her passion was taking care of her daughter, having a beautiful home and taking care of her daughter. And then as her daughter got older and she could kind of get away from the house a little bit, leave her home and go train, she found, there's this little part of me that hopes that jiu-jitsu will be next on that list.
All right, remember what I told you about my daughter's playing at home?
Yeah.
My wife, same thing. She likes the kickboxing, and I always ask her, hey, listen, come to jiu-jitsu class. But it's a little tough for females sometimes. Going into that environment, it's mostly men on the mat. And even at my gym, there are a lot of females there. But I think she doesn't feel as comfortable. So at home, I'll work with her. We're going on the carpet and we're showing some arm bars, triangles, chokes, and they like it.
Yeah.
And once you start teaching them technique, hopefully one day, she'll decide, hey, listen, I like this. I want to train a little bit more.
So like I was saying, I just finally moved last week, and we've always agreed. We have 2-car garage. We agreed I was going to get half the garage.
For Matt?
The 2 boxes. Did you see the boxes out in the hallway there that were there?
That's a victory.
Yeah. So I got. I had brought them to put them in the studio. We were going to do something in here, but I'm going to take them home. We wanted to start to film some content, but I'm going to use them at the house, maybe do a little bit of filming, like TikTok stuff, and we launched that and stuff like that. So anyway, so happily, she was, and she would put it back in the corner for me. Yeah, great. So now we're going to have, mats and the gym on one side. And I'm hoping that's going to be the catalyst, that's going to be the thing where I can say, well, let's just do it there. You don't have to go to the class, but you've got this resource.
That's right.
Of somebody who think I'm pretty good, at least for, my weight and age. I love it. And I love teaching, so let me show you some stuff. I think in the back of her mind, there's this little part of her that thinks like, oh, I got to roll around with him. He's going to choke me. He's going to arm me. No, I want to show you the things that you could be using yourself. I think that she's not seeing that yet. But hopefully with the mats and it being right there in the garage, that she'll, hey, come out with me.
I think that's so important, especially for females, to learn how to fight on the ground. I mean, once a female member joins our gym, we do encourage them to take all the classes, and one of which is always hey, listen, if you're only doing kickboxing or Muay Thai, try jiu-jitsu, try it once or twice. It's not for everybody, but if they like it and they have a great experience in it, they become very dedicated to it, and it becomes passion. Like you and I, how much we love it. They will start feeling the same way. I think is awesome.
Okay, how do you feel about just kind of the world? The world went crazy the last couple of years, but do you do anything with police officers, or do you do any kind of training for law enforcement?
We give them a discount.
Yeah,
we give them a discount. We give them a first responder discount. We have a lot of officers or people, first responders, firemen. They can come train, and I mean, for police officers, I think it's so important. And you don't even need to be like an expert at jiu-jitsu, right? Yeah. I think just some basic skills. Mm-hmm. Some understanding of control, all the positions. I think that alone will help somebody out on the street a lot.
I watched a video yesterday of a female officer. She's basically has the woman's back, but you can tell she doesn't know how to train because she's not like controlling her, and she's just got her like grabbed from the back, and they wind up falling. There's another cop handcuffs another woman.
Right.
Horrible job of controlling her. And he winds up pulling the woman that they're trying to arrest down the stairs, but she's holding the cop's hair. And he pulls them both down. Now, not only does he pull them down the stairs, but the cop is going face first because her hair's being pulled. And I'm like, how? And he's an older guy. She's a younger woman. I'd say she's probably in her 30s. He was well over 50. It's like, first of all, how do you not know at this age how to control that situation?
That's right.
If you're that age, you're probably a police officer. I doubt you started late in life. So you've probably been an officer for 10, 20 years, decades, and you don't know how to control the situation. And then he pulled his own partner down the stairs because she was having her, and I was just like, this is like the textbook example. This is what you put on the poster or in the video presentation.
That's right.
For why the police department should be teaching jiu-jitsu.
I mean, it's really the perfect answer if you think about it, right? You teach kids, hey, when you're in school and you get bullied, don't punch them, don't hit them, take them to the ground, put them inside control, and negotiate and say, hey, listen, I'll let you go.
Yeah.
If you don't do this anymore. I don't understand why they don't teach that to officers on the street when it's not, you're not going to hurt them, you're not punching them, but just hold them on the ground, just position.
Yeah, I think I've heard two things from police officers: money, the department's having to spend the money. How do you compensate somebody? Because if they're training, like, you've got to compensate them for the time. Do you let them train outside? Mm-hmm. Do they get points or get compensated for training in other places? Do you do it in-house? Do you make it mandatory? Do you just leave it up to them? But typically it seems to be about the money more than anything.
But there's a lot of instructors out there that would be willing to volunteer their time.
Yeah,
I know that for a fact.
Yeah,
one of my best friend Mario Curtielis, he's one of the black belts that teach, and he's a Homeland Security, and he always offers to teach any of his associates jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I think it's a shame that it's taken this long, but there seems to be some light at the end of this tunnel, like that. I think we had Jason from Jiu-Jitsu 50. Mm-hmm. He's a great, if you ever get a chance to follow him on Instagram, it's Jiu-Jitsu 5_O. And he does like these amazing lives. He'll do a live, mm-hmm. and then people are able to ask questions, and it's usually about how to subdue a suspect, how to put the cuffs on, jiu-jitsu related. They're in their gi there. And, one of them recently was, what do I do if somebody grabs my bulletproof vest from the back? Like, if they grab me, what would I do? So they usually do these lives, and then he cuts them into smaller content to re-air them, essentially, right? To put them on as their own clips.
Right.
So incredible content.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
I love it. One of the things he said, which still resonates with me, was that a high school wrestler gets more training in 1 week than a cop will get an entire year. Think about the training. Wow. Just, high school wrestler training a couple hours maybe, after school, or, an hour and a half. He's getting more training in 1 week than a cop will get all year in any of his defensive tactics, anything really get physical. That's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem because you're not keeping yourself in shape. I think, doing jiu-jitsu is going to force that overweight cop to keep himself in shape, because I'm going to have to go do jiu-jitsu and I'm going to look like a fool over here. And then, I think once you start doing it, you realize, wow, this is amazing. I think that there's again, I'll based on what he told us, is they're not getting paid to do it, so they've got to do it on their own time. Mm-hmm. So then that's a problem. Why am I going to do it? Why am I going to do this for my job? Well, you could save your own life. You could save your life, the life of your partner, so you should be doing this. But I think the only thing that's going to change is that the people that are against it are going to age out. That mm-hmm. people like him are going to be the new sergeants, lieutenants, captains, commissioners, who are going to be making those decisions, and they just got to get rid of the people that don't understand, essentially. Not rid of, but they'll retire, they'll age out, and at that point it's going to make it easier to make those kind of changes. But until then, I mean, it's not,
It's like Miami. Miami used to be very, very old, right? Old people come to.
Now it's young guys like you.
Now it's now you go outside and everybody's fit and they're working out and they're running. The only running that used to happen in Miami, was
running from the cops.
Pew pew. So,
I mean, it's
true
hard.
What you're saying. A new generation comes in and brings in this whole motif of being fit and training and doing something.
Where in the 70s, we were just, like, yeah, bruising babes, man.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, I talk about it a lot because my father was a cop.
Okay.
And I mean, he kept himself in decent shape. Wasn't like a weightlifter, but he'd run, jump roping. But I can't remember him ever talking about training defensive tactics as an ongoing, continuing education. Doesn't exist.
Well, I think things are changing. You're probably right. The trend is that they need to learn better, at least some sort of basic hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
Control or something. I think they're all benefit from it. Yeah. And if it's a budget problem, I mean, they got to fit it in.
I saw we saw a video. Same thing when we were talking to Jason. He had a video posted on his YouTube, and it was like all of the things that are the strongest positions that we understand are the strongest positions to subdue somebody were all against the law, like a knee, like a knee on belly, a knee on the chest, mounting. Literally sitting on them and mounting because of the pressure. Like, could you stop their breathing? Or,
right.
Which is ridiculous to us, again, or to somebody who knows how to train. I know how to control somebody. I'm not going to crush them. I could put my weight on them.
That's right.
But I'm not going to be able to. I'm not going to kill. I've never killed anybody. With a knee on belly. We did an episode. Yeah. we did an episode where we talked about knee on neck. It was like one of my favorite positions. It was kind of like a knee on belly. You could do a knee on like sternum or the other knee on belly here, and then just transition to a knee on neck. And like, I'm not crushing his neck. Most of the time, actually, I'd be like on the jaw, and it was more pain than sticking my knee into their neck. But it was a control position for me. Okay, this guy's about to get away from me. Let me switch and just get it here. He starts thinking about that, and then maybe I get back to my a good knee on belly. That was that now that's like you say knee on neck, and where your mind goes right to something else. And I'm not saying that was right and what happened, but the episode we talked about knee on neck done correctly was like what we called the episode. Because it was just like, that's not the way that it was supposed to be done, and not for that long. I'm not obviously not going to be a knee on neck on my partner for 9 minutes.
Right, exactly.
But I wish that changed. I hope that it changes faster.
Well, I think we'll both agree. It's, being an officer is very challenging, especially today. I mean, when you're saying that all these positions, we can't do and they're illegal.
Yeah.
I mean, what do? You sit out and you
can't joke.
While you're having a confrontation, you go, okay, which one was it that I couldn't do?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like us training, going, hey, listen, no knee on belly, no choke, no knee bar, and then you have all these things.
No jiu-jitsu. Then you're saying
what one-handed choke.
Yeah. Well, like no chokes, no rear naked chokes, which is like, if I had a suspect that was flipping out, I'm probably going to choke him out. Put him to sleep. I know he's going to be okay. Let's get the cuffs on him, restrain him, and then he's going to wake up, 20 seconds, 30 seconds later, if that.
Right.
And now he's completely subdued.
You have the right to remain sleeping.
Yeah. I mean, it's a situation where the people that are making the decisions don't really understand it. And again, that's why they have to age out, that they just have to kind of be gone and kind of make way for some new thinking. I think Henner and Hiron are doing a great job.
They're doing an awesome job.
You watch any of those videos?
I'm a huge fan of what they put out.
Yeah.
I like how they narrate all the different scenes, and they're 100% right.
Yeah. I mean, he's been like shouting from the rooftops, and he's getting, like, I saw a recent video where he's like, we got a department. We got a department that's committing to doing this. I mean, he went as far as laying out like the structure. Like, you're worried about the money. Well, you do this, give them points for this, give them pay for this. Right down to, I think he even went to like talking about the cost of not doing it
versus
like, what if doing it. Okay, you're worried about the cost, but then there's a $20 million lawsuit because you killed somebody when it could have been prevented.
That's right.
I mean, so it's just like, it just makes too much sense.
Yeah.
So the way he laid it out, he came out with like the video that he came out with when he was first like preaching it. Did you see that video?
Yep.
It was like, I think it was like a 15, 20 minute video or something that he did, but it was amazing. It was just like, this just makes too much sense. But, let's get into to some of our speed round questions. Again, I don't call it a speed round, but they're not as necessarily
I don't have to answer it really
anymore.
fast.
So some of these, let's get again. A lot of people didn't maybe hear the episode you were on last. So We'll go through some of these
one.
questions.
This is called the
We'll
Speedo
elaborate.
round. The Speedo round, where
Speedo
you
round?
put on a G-string
Oh,
and ask questions.
So what do you prefer training? Are you like a gi or no gi guy?
If I had a choice, I train gi. you
Yeah.
know, but I like no gi. You know, I train with the fighters, so of course that's no gi.
Yeah.
I think there's benefit in both, but you know, personally, if you say, hey John, let's go train right now, I go, okay, let's go get our gi.
Yeah.
Train.
When you're training with the MMA guys, are you putting on gloves too? Do you guys like?
Yeah,
will you
put
train
on gloves,
with like
yeah.
the 4
Put on
ounce,
gloves.
the
Yeah.
bigger one, like so they can grab, right?
That's right.
Are you-
exactly.
Are you throwing? Do you do?
I don't
light
throw
sparring
punches
like
at
you
them.
do?
I don't want to hurt them. You know, I don't want them to hurt me either. These,
Yeah.
you know, when you train with these guys, they're all in their early 20s. You know, they're pretty rough.
Yeah,
You know, but no, it's good. It keeps me young, man.
Yeah.
Training these guys.
that's awesome. So, take down or pull guard? What type of guy are you?
Take down a pull guard
Yeah.
in the street or on the mat.
Training.
No,
See this guy go in the street?
Well, you got to think there's different things you use. You know, different techniques for different situations.
Just training in the gym.
Right.
What's your go-to?
Well, with you, I don't think I would pull guard because I think you would smash my guard and try to pass me. When he said, I'm looking at Milton, I'm going, oh, you know what? I'm not pulling guard.
Crush, kill, destroy.
I get that.
Right? You get that a
I
lot?
get that a lot. I understand it, and I do get a lot of people saying that to me.
They say size doesn't matter. It's bullshit.
Funny,
You know?
Yeah. Well,
When
what do you
it's
think about that?
falling
Like,
on you.
so, like I'm at my best in my jiu-jitsu when I'm also doing weight training. Like I said, I'm training 3 or 4 days a week, but sometimes mixed in that I'm going to the gym and doing weights.
Right.
Not doing heavy weights anymore. I find that I recover faster, and I feel like my jiu-jitsu is better because my grips are tighter. I can pull. I just feel stronger. I just feel good about. I'm like, wow, I feel good about myself. My training. So, funny enough, let's go back to the takedown pull. I'm a guard puller. I prefer to pull. I don't know if you know anything about my coach Felipe. He's a lockdown guy.
Right.
So he's been a lockdown guy. So I love the lockdown. Now I smash and pass. Most guys are smaller than me, so I'm a complete dick if I
Correct.
run them over.
Correct,
Then
correct.
So I will pull guard. I'll let them work, especially if they're smaller than me. But it gives me, I'm not going to be the asshole smashing them, and I get to work on the lockdown. I love the lockdown, and I like playing with. We played with it a lot today. The other day, my professor walked by me. He's like, look at Milton. There he is in a lockdown.
Oh,
Who
is
would have
he?
thought? He was like, it's lockdown in north-south. If I'm on top, I'm going to try for the north-south. But I'm really, truly like trying to take kind of like that 10,000 time mantra.
Right.
If I do it 10,000 times, I'm going to become an expert at it.
That's right.
So I'm like, when I pull, I'm usually doing lockdown. And if I'm on top, no matter where I am on top, I'm going to work towards a north-south finish.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm definitely a pull guard guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's a bigger, stronger guy, I'm like, we're gonna fight. We're fighting for the top because
That's
I'm not
right.
gonna. It's nothing sucks more than being
That's
under
why
a bigger guy.
it's interesting you say that, because when I see when I see them training and there's a lighter guy, rolling with a heavy, I always yell, "Hey, listen, get on top! Don't let him get on top of you."
Yeah.
'Cause it's tough, when you have a big guy who has skills. Size does matter a little bit.
It's hard, and but that's where like I'm more comfortable if I'm weight training. I feel a little more comfortable to hold them off or maybe shrimp out, recover my guard. But yeah, I prefer to pull guard right now because I'm playing with the lockdown.
Right.
But again, I'm usually not going to pull guard on a guy that's bigger than me. That's just
You're smart. See?
That's the suicide.
It's funny how the big guy says the guy's bigger than me. They'll be like, "Hey, man, he's big," and you're like, "Dude, you're like 230 pounds, and he's
guy.
240." It's funny they always say the big guy.
I don't get to say it too often. My very first training partner, I had one of my training partners at my first jiu-jitsu gym, was 400 pounds.
Wow.
He's a big, very large man.
Skilled.
Only
Skilled
other
too?
guy ever.
No, he
bigger
was
than
he
you.
was white belts,
Right.
but you can't pull this guy on top of you. You're gonna get smashed. And we worked on a lot of positions. We'd have to figure out like how it worked for him, and it worked. He trained jiu-jitsu. It worked for him. I told you when I came back from the pandemic, I'd see these guys that were like 200 plus pounds, but like solid. Like what we talked about, that 205 UFC
That's
fighter.
right.
I'm like, I'm 230 and he looks like he's twice my size. Well, I walked into a gym full of guys like that. I was just like, okay, they may be a little bit lighter than me, but like a lot more 200 pounders. We also had Raul, who was one of the original kind of group of co-hosts when we were just doing roundtables, even before we had guests on. He was easily 265, 275.
Solid.
Big, beefy dude, a guy that worked out, a little bit older, so kind of a little bit heavier, like get the old man gut. At white, I was a blue, maybe getting to my purple. He was a white belt, and he would get on top of me, and I'd be like, "This, I'm done here, man." If he got me in a good side control, I mean, he may not have been able to finish me, but there was no way that I was getting out from underneath him. Yeah. So those big guys, we have feelings too, John.
That's right. That's right.
Big guys need love too.
You speaking of your professor, I hung out with I know Felipe, very nice guy, and I forgot.
Don't lie. You don't have to lie.
No. Felipe is a cool guy. Listen, I like Felipe a lot. And I believe we were in New Orleans and we were hanging out one night to dinner. He goes, "You want to go out there?" And we went out to dinner. And, we're in Louisiana, ordered a big dinner. And then when dessert came, I'm like, "Give me the dessert menu." And he's like, "I don't really do dessert." I'm like, "What do you mean?" I go, "We're in Louisiana." I go, "Come on, ice cream with brownies. Let's get it." Yeah. And he agreed. He's like, "Man, that was good."
Yeah.
Super nice guy, Felipe.
Yeah, I don't know how long ago that was, but he's a vegetarian now.
Well, I didn't say he ate meat, but he,
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, I was going to say, is he consider himself a vegetarian? Or what's the other word? I don't know how strict he is. Vegan.
A vegan.
I think he's a vegetarian.
Okay.
Slight difference there, right? But
now I know he is very. He watched what.
Yeah, he's. He's. I tell you, like he doesn't do weights. It's all jiu-jitsu.
That's amazing.
He's just no weights, doesn't run, no cardio program.
Nothing, just straight jiu-jitsu.
He's just jiu-jitsu all day, but he's typically teaching 5 or 6 classes a day from like the kids to adults at night.
Right. I know he trains a lot. He goes down south and trains.
Then he goes to Miami.
There's some animals in that gym too.
He goes to the pro train. Like when you said, okay, you can go to Miami and train.
Right. And
then there's going to Miami and doing the pro training with the Gilbert Burns and the Wagners and the Cyborgs and the Niños. I mean, that's Murderers Row.
Yeah,
That's Murderers Row. And then they have visitors come in who are like UFC fighters and got a fight to win coming up. Like, and these guys are, and he's done a couple of fight to wins.
Yeah.
He's
awesome.
I messed with him a little bit. Undefeated 3-0. He got everybody with the lockdown.
Yep, he's
everyone.
Super nice guy. I like Felipe a lot. It's funny you say you lift weight. For me, I have to lift weights too. I don't like it. But
you feel like you can recover. I feel like I recover better and faster when I'm working out.
I feel the same thing. I think for my joints too as well. When I don't lift, I miss like 2 weeks. You feel a little weaker. And in jiu-jitsu, you don't want to lose strength, even though you're not using the whole time. Yeah. But working out and lifting weights. I like the machines. It works better for me. Mm-hmm. But definitely part of my training, with martial arts and weights.
And now, again, I just moving. I mean, for the pandemic, I got rid of my, other gym memberships other than jiu-jitsu. And now that we've got a really nice gym inside the community in like a community center. So now I'm like, oh, you fuckers are in trouble now.
That's right. And the mat in the garage.
Mat in the garage. I've been dying for this. I've been dying to have some mats at home.
Listen, we'll put you in a fight next.
Yeah,
okay.
No. Listen, if I didn't have a 9 to 5, I would be wanting to compete. No, just compete jiu-jitsu, not get into an MMA cage. My wife wouldn't allow that. I wouldn't get my permission slip is not getting filled out for that one. So, do you have you watch? So you said you still watch UFC?
Yeah, I watch when the big fight comes in.
All right. You have who's your favorite competitors? Do you have an all time? Who's your GOAT?
Who's my GOAT? Well, I had a lot of them. I watched, but I definitely. I like Dustin. I think he's great. I think he's great for the sport.
He did a video. He did a video with him. He before what was it?
Substars thing.
Substars. Before Substars went out their last event, he was supposed to be on the card, and then he wound up getting hurt. But he went to American Top Team and he filmed up there.
Yeah, we did a little 5-minute
like a promo.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's good for the sport. I like how he countered the whole Connor thing on the media. I thought
the first fight, man, he really let it get to him, and you could see it. And this time out,
But
he's
then
just
he
like,
figured
Yeah,
out
whatever,
that
man.
it's a
"I am,
bunch
it's
of
all
shit
my games.
talking.
I'm not falling for this time." And and I'm not
That's
gonna
why
let
he
it
had
affect
that
me.
smirk the whole time.
That's right.
He's got a cool
Yeah, he
smirk.
just goes,
he's like, oh, "This is
"What,
shit talking. This is."
But the first fight, he really let it get to him. He tried to come back and combat it, and he's got his foundation. I think he's a good guy.
he's a
He's
good
got the
guy.
hot sauce. I think I don't know if the hot sauce benefits the foundation.
Right.
Yeah, I
completely,
think it does. Yeah.
solely.
He's a cool guy.
He does.
Yeah. He's always telling me, he's like, "You gotta get Dustin
Gotta
Poirier."
get
I'm like,
Dustin out. Yeah. I was like, now
I
that
don't know
he's got
it's not
McGregor,
as easy as you think to just get a UFC
No.
fighter to come on your podcast.
That's
Yeah,
right.
well, no,
you never
because
know. You just ask.
No, well,
He knows.
Yeah.
He knows our name.
You know what's our guest list has
Dustin,
almost
you hear
always
us?
come
Come
from
on the show.
like Roberto mentioned you, mentioned Big J. Big J knows Wagner. He commented on something. I said, "Hey Wagner, you want to come on the show?" That's how that happened.
Awesome.
Do you know like Muhammad Ali, the jiu-jitsu guy from Brazil, Muhammad Ali? He knew Jay too as well. He commented. He reposted the
awesome.
posting for questions. I said, "Hey, next time you're in Miami, you want to come on?" She's like, "Absolutely."
Absolutely.
That's the way it's happened. It hasn't been like, "Oh my God, who are we gonna have on the show next?" It's people I want to talk to that I find interesting, that I think we're gonna have a good conversation with, and a lot of times it's been like, "Hey, you should meet this guy." Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, John, he's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Oh, Big J, Wagner. Sometimes I just reach out to somebody. Like, hey.
And that shows
saw
you the
you on the show.
camaraderie of jiu-jitsu.
Well, and yeah, it's
Yes,
jujitsu.
exactly.
So never been like scared to ask anybody to come on the show. But sometimes people are busy, they're not around. The only thing that holds us up now, in a good way, is that I want them to come in. So when somebody mentions somebody that's like across the country, like we have somebody, I'm not going to mention his name. We're talking to somebody to come on the show, and he's like, "Do you have any gyms down there where I could do a seminar?" He goes, "If that helps me pay for the trip," he's like, "Maybe I could just give me a gym in your area or your gym. Tell me
Right.
the gym that you train in, and maybe I can come down and I can do something, and it'll pay for my trip."
Right.
And I'm going to make a couple bucks. And hey, I know some other gyms in Florida. I'll call the other gyms, but anybody local. And I set him up with one of our co-hosts who owns a gym, and we're talking about it now. So,
That's awesome. That's great.
but I would have done the Zooms before. I would have just said, "Hey, let's do it on Zoom." I like the Zooms. I don't love the Zooms. I love this. I love coming
That's
in,
right.
looking you in the face, meeting you, and talking about jiu-jitsu. It's I've had somebody on the show, seen them less than a week later at a fight to win, and like it's not the same. It's not this. We didn't get to shake hands and chat for a little bit before the show. It's a different kind of relationship that gets formed.
Right.
I love this version of it more. So that's the only thing that holds us back is, hey, when are you going to be? You want to come on the show? When are you going to be in Miami? When's the next time? But with the fight to wins,
they always
they're
travel
going to be here. Yeah,
right.
we're the mecca of jiu-jitsu and MMA and UFC fighters at American Top Team, so it can happen. But I've just kind of let it happen organically. I'm not on my phone every day going like, "Oh my God, who's going to be on the show next?" Right. We got a good roster of people that are going to come on. It's not always the most famous person in jiu-jitsu. It's just somebody I think we're going to have a good conversation with. That's how I like to do it, at least. Maybe
Well,
I'm wrong.
It's a great podcast. I'm a
Thank
huge
you, man.
fan of it.
Thank you. Okay, so let's. We got a few more questions here. So, other than achieving the rank of black belt, what is your ultimate goal in the world of martial arts or jiu-jitsu? Where would you like to see yourself in another 10 years?
In the world of jiu-jitsu, I just want to get better. When you get, to my age, every day that I get to walk on a mat is a success. And every day I get to walk out healthy is another success.
Yeah.
And the way I feel like, when I'm done training, I have a good session in, walk out, man, I'm ready to hit the day.
Have you ever had any major injuries that kept you off the mat?
Well, not really. I've been pretty lucky. I mean, little pull muscles here and there, but no major injuries yet.
Yeah.
And I just want to train.
Yeah.
I just want to train.
How many days a week do you train? I mean, you own the gym,
Right.
but are you training every single day?
Yeah, I train. I own the gym. I train at my own gym. I also train with Bowie and his team at Carlson Gracie, Miami. I make
Okay.
the trip down there. Great.
Is that essentially like your professor?
Yeah.
Or master, right? That's the guy that's putting your belt on
That's
you?
correct. And it's a great atmosphere. I love all their team. They're very open to me coming in.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's great. I go there, drive down, I train, I go home, I'm happy, I'm ready to go.
If I drop dead on the mat, when I die, if I drop dead on the mat, I feel like I would have lived a good life.
That's right.
And I almost did. Both of my heart attacks happened the day after, back to back, the same like night and then the morning were after training.
Oh
And I
wow.
had a heart
Okay.
attack. So
Oh wow.
if I say it jokingly, but if I was in the gym and I drop dead, hopefully when I'm 90,
Right.
I will feel like I've lived a good life.
That's right. That's right.
So what do you say to somebody who wants to open a gym? I know it's difficult. Like when somebody asks, let me say it this way. When somebody asks me about starting a podcast, the first thing they ask me for advice, and the first thing I say is, don't start a podcast. That's my first
Why do you
advice.
say that?
Because I don't think people truly understand what it takes for it to be successful. So I say, don't start a podcast. But I know you're not going to listen to me, so now I'm going to tell you how I did it. Not to give you I'm going to tell you how I did it. The money that we spent, I tell them the numbers that I was spending per month to get this going, and they usually go, okay, I guess I'm not going to do that. And I say, but okay, look, I'm telling you the things that I want you to be scared of because I want you to understand. But my advice now is start on Instagram and Facebook Live. Start there, build a little bit of a following, start there, get comfortable, make sure you're comfortable. Why would you invest? Like, you don't have to invest in all the equipment that we have here, but start there. Don't invest too much into it. Get some people to be your guest and see how you like it. Watch it yourself, watch it back, and see if you like it.
That's good advice.
That's my advice there. But I usually try to scare them about it, not because we're worried about competition, because there's been different types of podcasts. It's not always a jiu-jitsu podcast. But I usually start telling them, don't do it. Don't do it. Here's why. Or unless you have a budget to do this. And a famous person's never asked me, hey, I want to start a podcast. But I tell them, the people that have, I say, unless you have a famous person in that world that's going to bring people in, it's going to be very difficult. Most podcasts last under 20 episodes. I think it's actually the number's like under 14.
That's right.
We're at 50 over 2 years.
Wow.
Some people do.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
But some people are in the hundreds in a year. But if you look at the numbers, you also see it's like they're pumping out content because they think they have to pump out content. But are they pumping out the right content?
Correct.
That man over there convinced me that we have to put out the right content. So it can be 2 a month, 3 a month. Good stuff, things that people want to hear, guests that they want to hear about or hear from, and it's worked for us. So, but now I'll ask you your question about a gym, because you kind of smiled when I first said it. So I said, let me know what I tell. Don't do it, because it's freaking hard.
I don't tell people not to do it, but I do get that question a lot. You ask some of these other instructors what they want. They want to open their own gym. Well, first and foremost, it's a business. It doesn't matter what level martial arts you are. Yes, if you have a reputation, it's going to be easier. You're going to get your crowd. But everything, it's a business, and you have to understand sales. You have to understand marketing. You have to understand customer service. So until you understand those elements, I wouldn't suggest opening a gym. Go teach somewhere, go work somewhere, but
learn the business.
Yeah, learn the business, and especially now with social media, how important it is, and how that is part of our marketing mix. It is so important, and listen, I'm very blessed. I'm lucky to have to be able to do what I love, and just like we talked about today about working in the martial arts and getting on the floor, helping people, teaching people, the fighters. I mean, I just get such a kick out of it.
How did you get people in the gym before the days of social media? Because that's just weird for people now, right? It's like, well, let me look up on Google. That's the yellow pages now, right? Look up on Google, check out the reviews, and then maybe I'll stop by. Or you're getting targeted by an ad. How did you do it in the olden days?
It was yellow pages, which I freaking hate.
Yeah.
Every year they come in, you have a business card size ad. This year is going to be 600. Next year they come in, they're going to say 700. So brochure. If
you're lucky, it only went up 100.
Yeah, exactly. It was the worst. I was
plus.
so happy when I realized that we didn't need yellow pages anymore.
Yeah.
But traditional print ads and just having a good reputation.
Yeah.
But now with social media, you can pretty much. I mean, we talked about early before we got on is how important it is and how much you can do on social media. And having a guy like him who has a vision and putting out great content like you guys do, that's the secret. That's the secret.
So it's not for I'm not shitting on somebody's dream. When I say that, I want them to really understand. Again, I tell them, don't do it in the beginning, but then I give them the roadmap. Then I do tell them. And these days, again, I usually say, start on Instagram, start on Facebook, and see if you like it. you may feel uncomfortable on camera. You may feel like, oh my God, I was searching for my words. I had an outline and I strayed from it, and this was bad. Like, see how you like it, and what better way than amongst people that you know. Right, your followers, people that maybe you train with if it's jiu-jitsu, and again, that's been my advice lately. And nobody that I know has started a podcast.
No, right? You scare them all away. Hey man, good job.
Nobody started a podcast.
He scared all the competitors away.
So, craziest thing that's ever happened to you in the gym? Anything crazy? Again, I don't remember if we asked that question last time. What's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you in the gym or training?
Shit,
on the mat?
I got my nose broken one time.
Ooh.
The guy next to me, actually, he's one of my assistant instructors, Roland. I think he got swept and went right on my nose.
Foot, hand?
Foot,
yeah.
went in my nose, and they stick the thing up and they crack it back. That was like, ever since then, I'm like, so worried about my surrounding.
Yeah,
My eyes just watered.
Yeah. It didn't really hurt that bad, but it was just like thinking about, now when I roll now, I think about it. I was like, oh man, got to get away from everybody. But that's about it. Yeah. Nothing crazy.
How often do you train jiu-jitsu specifically during any given week?
Probably 2-3 times a week.
2-3 times.
Threes are very good. It's a good week for us.
Your gym and going down to Carlson Gracie?
Yes,
or that's a mix of both?
Both.
Okay.
I wish I can get down there a little bit more, but you have your business, kids, and everything.
Yeah.
So I try to sneak it in. And sometimes when I'm teaching in class, I'm like, go and roll. And you just got to motivate yourself. And once you get in, you're good, right?
Yeah.
Once you get warmed up, you're like, oh man, I'm so glad I came in to roll.
I told my wife this the other day because, there are memes that kind of talk about this. The second I could be exhausted, I could be tired, and I'm like, I don't want to go. And I go in the bathroom, put on the rash guard, and it's mindset changes.
Yeah.
You just like, it's like putting on your armor. And not putting on the gi at the house usually. So I might put on my gi pants, but if I put a rash guard on, and then it's just like, we're about to do this.
That's right.
We're going. So I better wake up. But there's just this moment of like a light switch goes, and it's like,
Well, listen, it's pretty. BJJ is pretty badass. I mean, think about it. You go on there. You could go grapple somebody who's 30, 40, 50 pounds stronger, bigger than you, and you can control the opponent. I think there's something special about that.
Yeah. You ever have anybody just come into like the Gracie challenge kind of days? You ever have anybody that's just come in and been like,
you know what?
Give me a brown, give me a black belt.
I get that question from my friend, and we really never have. I don't know why. I mean, I had a car wash guy one time challenge me. I said, I got pissed off because I was in class, and he's like, man, I used to train Taekwondo. I'll kick your ass. That Kung Fu's no good. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go out there and wrestle with him.
It's funny, again, telling my wife these stories that I've heard from people. Once people know that you do martial art or any type of martial art, everyone's done martial arts.
That's right.
Right? Everyone's like, oh, I trained back when I was, I was.
And I hate that. I don't mind talking martial arts with another martial arts, but when they give that story about,
I trained when I was 12. Yeah, I was trained when I was 12, but, I'm kind of quit,
That's right. Sometimes it's cool. One time when I was younger, I was over at my friend's house and we ordered a delivery. Right. Yeah. So we're all sitting there. I think we're happy hour or whatever. And the guy who delivered, came to deliver the food. They opened the door and the guy saw me. I guess he knew me and he bowed. Right. Oh, my friend ripped me, Like ever since then, every time they see me, they do the bow. I was like, man, I go, why the dude have to bow to me like this?
I would have loved that. I would have ate
in my house,
I would have ate that up. My wife is always going, when am I going to be out with you? And people start coming up to you and be like, can we take your picture? Aren't you the Jiu Jitsu Dummies guy? And I'm like, stop it.
Listen, it's going to happen.
I would love that day. I would love that day. If somebody came up to me and bowed, I would eat it up. No,
I would milk the shit out of it.
I would eat that shit. I was like, "That's right. You better bow. You better bow in front of me."
Talk to the foot.
Now, listen. People are gonna see you today. I had a new guy on the floor, and he comes up to me, he points, he goes, "You're on the Instagram." I'm like, it's our Instagram, we film ourselves all the time. But it's amazing, you're out here talking. You have no idea how many people you're influencing to train, and motivating them.
I hope so.
I'm pretty sure you do.
It's why I always like, no matter what we talk about, I usually try to ask questions for those people that are thinking about starting, or if somebody's got it on in the car with their kids or the wife, I know from the questions that we get, I see the pictures on Instagram, like I know who is listening to us.
Right,
I know
right.
kind of the level.
That's awesome.
It's always been
So they're not-
kind of like
they're not-
our level are like purple and down and kids. So I know who's listening to us. That's why I curse a lot because I'm an idiot. But I try not to curse too much because I know that there are kids that listen to the show, and I know I have parents that'll be like, yeah, oh, I haven't put it on for them yet. Like they're going to let them watch it, but they haven't I'll get a comment like, hey, I watched the show, but I haven't put it on for my kids yet. They're going to let them listen to it this weekend or something like that.
Nice.
That's a great feeling.
That's right.
But it's why I ask some of the questions that I ask, because these questions are meant to kind of hit those people that I know that are listening that are, the blue belt curse.
Right.
We don't want them to drop off. Look, we've all been there. We've gotten hurt, or he's gotten injured. I got look, he's still here. Got a broken nose. He's still here. Like, there's a reason for some of the questions.
It's funny you say that. That's always the challenge because, jiu-jitsu is hard training. Like for
hard on
me,
the body.
every training session rolling now, it's hard. It's difficult. It's not easy. And, sometimes, if my body's not feeling good that day, I got to talk myself into it. So just go, just get it started.
And how do you feel at the end of that training session?
Well, listen, there's never been one time I'm driving home and go, damn, I shouldn't have gone train. When you're driving home, you feel good. You're like, thank God I trained.
Yeah. I mean, I always feel better mentally. Always feel better mentally. I'm at the point where even if I had a bad, I'll just go hammer and nail. Sometimes you hammer, sometimes I have to tell myself that you were the nail today. That's great, but you're not going to let that happen again, or you're going to go home, watch a video, pull up YouTube. This guy, the counter to the move, the sweep that I should have done. I'll look for that stuff. So even after a bad session, or if I feel like I got my ass handed to me, mentally, my mind is clear from the day, from work, from relationships, from the whatever, all those issues that I was worried about before. Tell my wife, if you want something from me, we're about to have an argument, get me after I come home from jiu-jitsu.
That's right.
This is a secret. You're going to get exactly what you want. You're going to win the argument, and that's it. Just I'm at my most level at that moment when I get home or when I leave the gym. I'm just like.
I think all men would agree to that. No, really. Listen, female, if you guys out there watching, get your men involved. No, really. Listen, we have testosterone. You're driving out there, you got road rage. Once I'm done training, there's no road rage. I mean, you know what? Whatever.
No.
I
drive like an old man. I drive like an old man for two reasons. I did get into a bad car accident, but the second reason is what am I hurrying up for?
That's right.
To get there 5 minutes earlier? My wife, somebody beeps at her. The classic, the light just turned green and somebody beeps at her. And she's getting mad. She's all pissed off. Why are you beeping? I'm going to sit here then. Okay. Maybe he's just an asshole.
Maybe he's having a tough day.
Maybe his wife just called him and said, I really need you to get home. My water just broke. Or, hey, honey, got to come home. Little Johnny, I think he might have a broken foot. We got to get him to the hospital. You don't know what's going on. So why do you let it affect you? I don't let that stuff affect me anymore. If I do catch myself in that instance, I'm usually able to pull myself back. Right. I get mad. I was putting up a fan last night. I was cursing like a sailor. We got to put all the fixtures up in the house. So I put up a fan. I was just like, I missed a wire. Like there was a red wire and I didn't connect. And I'm like, this motherfucker, take this fuck. But I'm able to pull myself back and go, we're done. Look at it. Looks great. Got done. I don't handle myself the way that I did because I have that outlet. Mm-hmm. I can, if I miss a few days of training, I can see it in the way I talk to my wife, I talk to my daughter, I talk to people that I know. When I'm on a sales call, I'm harder. Maybe that in that way it's good. Like I'm, push for a close.
Right.
I'm a little bit more difficult, when I'm talking to people versus I've been training, consistently, and I'm just. Woosah,
I think we would all agree to that. I mean, even out, if somebody, gives you some lip in public, you're like, dude, I train with badasses every day. There's nothing I need to prove here.
Yeah.
And then
if you do get into something, who's getting in trouble?
Right.
You get into a fight with somebody and you hurt somebody. Oh, John, wait, that guy, he's a Sifu. He's a brown belt. He shouldn't have been doing that. He should know better. And you could potentially hurt somebody, even if it was you just protecting yourself. So first thing, I'm like, again, I said this before, I think. I don't know if we were recording yet. There's a problem over there. I'm all the way over there. I'm taking my dad's advice when I was a kid. If they're screwing around over there, I'm over there. When I used to be like, there was a problem there. Let me get out with the problem.
Let me see what's going on.
See what's going on. I was right there, right in the mix, and got myself into trouble here and there. Me and my friends used to go out when I was in New York before I trained, and we used to go out and be like, let's get into a fight tonight. And we would start stuff. We would just start stuff just to be idiots.
He's from New York.
New York.
He's from New York.
I'm from Long Island.
even tougher
People here in
there.
New York,
Queens.
they think New York City. I'm from Long Island. I tell people this all. There were deer running through my backyard when I was a kid.
Wow.
I would
You were that guy.
my father, to keep me busy, we would set up rabbit traps. We'd set like a little milk crate, like an old
Where the hell
style
did you live?
metal
Comac?
crate.
Comac?
Wait, no, further. Was Comac is
Smithtown?
Further out. Patrick Medford, exit 63
Oh
on the
shit!
expressway.
I lived in Smithtown when I was a kid.
It's further out. So when I was a kid, when they first built our house, look, to the day that we moved, I believe they built the lot on us. It was a strawberry farm.
Mm-hmm.
And even when I got older, like when I would mow the lawn, every once in a while, I'd see like a little patch of like really tiny strawberries coming out.
Wow.
Yeah,
You
it was
literally lived on
But it was-
strawberry fields.
He did.
I swear to God. So this is the truth. Before like all the lots got taken, like I would catch rabbits or put little vegetables in a thing, and I would just sit there waiting to pull the little string and catch a rabbit.
Wow.
So yeah. It's not from New York City. My parents were from New York City. I was a year old when they moved to Long Island. So when people say, "Oh, he's from New York,"
Right.
I'm
You're
like,
not
no.
really from the New York.
I was from basically back then. People from the city would call us hicks, basically. So it's like we get into hick trouble. Go out to a bar, be stupid. Drive drunk. Do
You're a
do
Long
really stupid
Island
things.
hillbilly. Yeah. A Long Island hillbilly.
Yeah. Now it's not the same. Now it's all congested. And it's. I don't even go back.
They still do the
I
rabbit
didn't
thing,
go back.
trapping rabbits the same way.
Yeah.
Only it's in Queens now.
That's how I caught my first girlfriend too. It was a little trap there.
We used to run after rabbits in the park in Queens.
All right, so
Yeah.
last question now. Again, I know you've answered this, but for the people, you know the question that I have to ask. Do you know the question? Do you remember our final
Yeah, I
question?
remember.
Tell the people, do you wash your gi belt, your jiu-jitsu belt?
This is 100% honest, okay? After we spoke last time, I started washing my belt.
You didn't wash your belt last time? Did you say no
I
last time?
didn't. I don't. Nobody taught me to wash my belt.
Oh, shit.
But I do wash my
Wash
belt
your belt,
now.
everybody.
So, but listen, the belt's a lot harder now when you wash it. It's normal.
Well,
It's hard.
Well, yeah. Well, you're not drying it, right? 'Cause, well, if
No,
you
I
dry
hand-
it, it'll.
I hand dry it.
I don't dry because I don't dry my gi or my belt. It'd be, my A3 would be an A2, an A1 when I'm done with it. I wash it. Yeah. It's just it got completely wet and it gets a little hard.
Okay. I do. Thanks to you guys. Thanks for teaching me that.
So-
make me feel bad.
We asked Wagner that question on the last episode. I have awesome episode. I love Wagner. It was great. I've listened to the episode a couple of
You
times.
were
Had a ball.
enlightened.
I was I don't know, embarrassed
Enlightened and embarrassed.
that he was like, you don't wash your belt. What do you wash? You don't wash your belt. And he gave me his reasons why. That I guess like from an old school perspective, and even as a coach, the wearing of the belt, the fading of the color, he can as a coach look at somebody and be like, okay, I can see how much he's been training. Now, people never explained it to me that way.
So when you wash it, it looks like we train more?
It looks because it fades. It fades and it wears and it looks like.
Yep.
But I guess he says that actually goes back to like way back. I think maybe even to Brazil, where somebody would wash their belt to make it look like they had been training more. But I said, I'm not doing it for that. I never even considered that. And my coach knows who I am. I mean, he knows when I've been there and he knows when I haven't.
Right.
So I'm not doing it to pull the wool over anybody's eyes. So he gave, like, from a coach's perspective, he gave it like, no, you don't do, like, he was like, no, I was just like, wow, I feel uncomfortable now. So he's like
Wrong
right here.
question.
He's like right here. I was just like, I'm very uncomfortable. I think I told him. So I answered my biggest regret question. I told my biggest regret. I go, my biggest regret was telling you that I don't wash my belt. That I wash my belt. I mean, so
All right, I'm not washing my belt anymore.
I told completely for sanitary purposes. It's just always nobody told me not to, and then I would hear the jokes about like, oh, you're washing off the technique. Nobody said, hey, you're trying to fade it to like. Nobody ever told me that.
That's if you have cheat notes on the back with little technique notes, and then you're washing off the technique.
Yeah, a little cheat sheet. I never looked at it like that. But when he said, I get it, And I did tell him, I said, look, he knows Felipe, right? They're both Fight Sports. I said, Felipe knows when I'm training and when I'm not. And, smaller class. I mean, he's grown, but smaller classes. He knows my technique and what I'm good at and what I suck at.
Right.
There's an intimacy there. And he's the coach, and he's training too. He's not in an office while other people are training, where take nothing away from anybody who does that. But he's always, at least for the adults, he's always training. He does class. I think he trains every class, actually, unless he's away. And then it's his wife, who's a black belt, who's a 3-stripe black belt as well. So there's no getting away from it. You know how much I've trained.
That's
so
right. Does Felipe wash his belt?
So funny story.
I'm curious.
No, Felipe does not wash his belt. His wife has washed it for him. If you've seen,
does he know that?
She said it. I think when we were joking about it one time, she said it, or no, he wasn't there because she was like, yeah. She's like, I smelled his belt the other day. It was horrible. She's like, I washed it, but I don't think he knew. And he did have, for somebody who doesn't wash his belt, he had it was like gray. It was so worn. The white, the underneath was coming through. It was horrible. He doesn't wear that now. He's got 2 new. I see him with a really dark belt every once in a while. So he's just had other belts. So he does not wash it. He is not an advocate of washing it, and he does make me feel like a horrible person for washing my belt. So. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up. Do you want to give you guys a shout out? You got anybody you want to say hello to?
Hey, thank you very much for having me on the show. It's an honor to come in here again, to get invited again.
Not too many people have done 2 episodes with us, so
really,
you're on a very short list.
So you take back the thing from the beginning. You are special.
I know, special. Right? Exactly. He's so political sometimes, politically correct. No, thank you very much for having me on the show. I really appreciate this.
Thank you for making your way down to Miami. I know it's a little bit of a ride, but hopefully it was worth it. We'll put this out. I usually tell you to come out next Wednesday.
Okay.
Love to have you back again. We'll put a little time between the next episode, but if you ever want to come on, maybe you want to bring one of your guys that are training, before a fight. Give me because we'll film on a Saturday and launch the next week. Maybe when they got a fight coming the next month, give me a buzz. We'll get them on and we'll talk about it, and just ring me up, man. I'm never going to say no. And if we've got other things booked, we'll do 2 in a day, and we'll make it happen. All right.
Perfect.
Let me just do a little housekeeping. Yes. Stick with us. Shout out to our Patreon podcast sponsors. They include gym sponsors Carlson Gracie Winter Haven in Winter Haven, Florida. Check them out at cgwinterhaven.com and on Instagram at CarlsonGracie_Winter Haven. Carlson Gracie Broward County as well in North Lauderdale. CarlsonGracieBrowardCounty.com at Carlson Gracie Broward County on Instagram. John Way Martial Arts in Plantation, Florida. JohnWayMartialArts.com and John Way Martial Arts on Instagram. Our individual podcast patrons include Robert Walker, Frank House, Wolsey Rivera, Boa Athletics. You can check them out at BOA_athletics on IG. Michael Pixley Jr., Jason Smiley, Britt Tavar, CJ Carroll, Mission 22, Chuck Reddoor, and Roberto Santiago. I think you know Roberto, don't you?
Roberto's awesome.
If you'd like to sponsor the show, support us, you can go to our IG, go to Instagram, at Jiu Jitsu Dummies, click on the link in our bio, the Linktree link. You'll find all the ways you can support us. Those people whose names I just read off in the gyms, they all sponsor us on Patreon, so you can check us out at patreon.com/Jiu Jitsu Dummies. Join and you're automatically entered to win. Every single month, we put you into a pool for a $100 raffle. I am a few months behind. I haven't forgotten. I'm a few months behind.
Slacker.
We're going to be doing some gift cards, and we're going to be doing some gi giveaways. So I'm going to get that taken care of in the next couple of weeks. We also put in listeners who submitted questions for use on the show. So if you submitted a question that month, you're in that raffle as well. So sometimes it's a Patreon sponsor, and sometimes it's somebody who has sent us a question.
Nice.
All right. Again, check us out at Jiu Jitsu Dummies on IG, because you could also support our scholarship program, right? So we've got 2 sponsored athletes right now. We've been paying for their jiu-jitsu for 1 full year. First were 2 kids who were just doing phenomenal things. One was Bridger Walker, who got bit in the face protecting his sister from the dog.
Awesome.
Do you remember that?
I remember.
He went viral. And also Gemma Fiorenza, who is she does a lot of stuff with Tap Cancer Out to help support her mom, who's having a battle with cancer. So those are 2 of our sponsored athletes. We're going to be doing a veteran sponsorship very, very soon. So that's next on the list. So if you guys want to support us, just go to our IG, just click. You'll see all the links when you click on our link tree. All righty. You can check out the podcast store at jiujitsudummies.shop. Get 15% off with code JJD. We have rash guards and tees. We've got can you see my new Juan Danaher?
Nice.
Can you see Juan Danaher shirt? We just finished the rash guard, so I'm going to be putting that up. You'll probably be able to see it within the no relation to the other Danaher,
Right.
But thought it was. I love this. My new favorite shirt. But we just did a rash guard, same image, but like really nice leafy green. Looks like a jungle. I think everybody's gonna like it. But check us out on at jiujitsudummies.shop. Get 15% off with code JJD. If you order over $50, you get free shipping. We want to thank the We Defy Foundation for their support and all they do for veterans and the jiu-jitsu community. For those of you who don't know that they provide therapeutic relief to disabled combat veterans through jiu-jitsu, you can check them out at We Defy Foundation on Instagram, and you can donate anytime at wedefy.org. They have a gala happening in December in Dallas, Texas. It's their annual gala. They're raising money. They're looking for sponsors. And we're actually going to show you a little bit of a small clip with Amy Coxon, their national event coordinator. Check this out. Hey, everybody. With us today is Amy Coxon from We Defy Foundation. She's the national event coordinator, and we're going to talk a little bit about the gala coming in September. I just got my tickets. I'm all set. I got to get my hotel still, Amy, but I got my tickets.
Okay, good deal.
Welcome to the Jiu Jitsu Dummies.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So when I talked to TJ, I told him, I said, listen, we got to do something before the show, before the event on the show. And he said, yeah, listen, I'll put something together. And so let's jump right in. Tell us a little bit about the gala, what we're going to be doing there. People that listen to the show know about We Defy, but we could talk about We Defy as well. So the floor is yours.
Absolutely. So the gala is really our annual fundraiser. That's kind of our signature event. It's one that we didn't get to have in 2020.
Why?
So we were pretty excited to come back. I know what happened. Nothing was going on. So no, we're really excited to have everyone back together. It's really it's a night where we get to celebrate everything that happened during 2020 and 2021 for the foundation. The fact that we made it through, and we're just really excited to have kind of our community back together again.
Yeah. So. You guys are having your biggest year? The biggest fundraising year, or for, was it 2020 or 2021? Has this been the biggest fundraising year ever?
It has been. I mean,
wow.
We've consistently grown, which is, so the theme for the gala is Prove Them Wrong, which has been a theme for We Defy consistently. And really, that's a big part of it. Is 2020, a lot of businesses failed, and it would have been expected for us to kind of go that way, but we came out stronger, and we're continuing to grow.
Do you know how many gyms you guys have to date that are We Defy? What would we call them? We Defy gyms, or what's their official title when they come aboard?
They're the We Defy affiliate gyms, I believe is the title we use. I do not know the exact number as of right now. I want to say it's between like 250 and 300. So it's a lot.
All right. So what are we going to be doing at the gala? You tell me about kind of the layout of the gala, the timing of what's going to happen when we're there.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be a full weekend of events. We'll have a Friday night open mat for people who are traveling in. Y'all are welcome to join. It'll be in the Dallas area. So we'll also have a Saturday morning open mat. So lots of jiu-jitsu over the weekend. And then Saturday night, we all get dressed up. We won't recognize each other. It'll be great. But we'll have a cocktail hour. There's a full dinner. But really the program, we're going to have some videos that our team has been working really hard to put together, really telling the stories of our veteran athletes, some of them who have been through the program and are now ambassadors for us. And it's really cool to see them come full circle and share their stories with other people. We'll have a keynote speaker. It'll just be a really great night. I'm excited for it.
So now people can still get tickets for the event on the website, right?
Yes.
WeDefyFoundation.org.
Yes.
If they went up to $25. No big deal, right? It was $125 if you got them before the end of July. Now it's $150, right?
It is. We are a little over 80% full, so tickets are going fast. So
Yeah. Wow.
if you
That's
want to
great.
come, please buy them early.
Like I said, I got my tickets. I'll be coming with my wife. I'm really excited.
Good.
She's all she's excited to buy a dress, so that's the
Right,
thing that she
yeah.
said. She's not excited about the event. With
For
jiu-jitsu,
sure.
whatever. She just wants to buy her dress. So, okay, so let's talk about any companies out there that would like to sponsor, right? We have two ways. They can sponsor the gala, just do a regular sponsorship, or they can become a silent auction partner, right? Is that basically the two
Yes.
ways, right? So let's talk a
those are
little
the
bit
two
about
options.
more about that. How can they reach out to you guys? Any suggestions on like things that you'd like to have featured or companies out there? Let's, again, this is the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll start with our sponsors. So with our sponsorship packages, there are some different benefit levels. Those are as well on the website on the WeDefyFoundation.org under our gala page. You can find a way to become a silent auction donor or a sponsor.
Okay.
So with our sponsors, those are straight donations, but we will also have a benefit package for each level. With the silent auction, those are going to be items where people can bid on whatever you're donating to help raise more money for our veterans.
Okay.
So we've got everything from hotel stays to restaurant gift cards. I am pretty sure we have some brass knuckles in there. We have, it's Texas.
Yeah.
So we've got Dale Bonney, one of our ambassadors, made this incredible skateboard that's a custom We Defy skateboard.
DB,
I mean, we
DB
have all
skateboards. We've
kinds
done
of
something
stuff.
with him. We did some rings.
Yes.
We did a giveaway with him.
Did you?
Yeah.
There's going to be a Jiu Jitsu Dummies gift card.
Yes.
That's in there as
So-
well. That's in the silent auction.
So let's break some news. So we were going to do 500. Let's make it 1,000. So put us down for $1,000 gift card to the website, and
Yes,
we'll.
thank you.
Yeah. So let's try to contribute a little bit more, and anything else we could do to help. Obviously, just ask, please.
Absolutely.
So
that is
so
super
lots of
helpful.
jujitsu. If you can't, lots of jujitsu there. If you can't sponsor, if you can't get there. If you don't have a silent auction, you just want to donate. We need everybody to get out to WeDefyFoundation.org. You can always sponsor. I know on like Facebook and Instagram, you could do a recurring donation. So if it's like, well, I don't feel, sometimes people feel like, well, I can only do a couple of dollars now. It's not worth it. Or I'll do it when I have, you can set up a recurring donation, correct? So you can do $5
yes.
a month and it'll just come out of your card or your bank account, right? That's a good way for people to do things, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, everything adds up for this, all of our costs and everything. So you may not think it's a large amount or that it's helpful, but it all adds up and it all really helps us keep the money going towards our veterans. So.
Well,
It
that's
helps.
awesome. That's awesome. So we're going to get back with our guest, John Way, in just a second. But I really appreciate you coming on and doing this. And let's, next time or next gala or next time you have an event, we got to plan it a little bit earlier and have you come on, and we'll do a whole episode with yourself or, any of the crew that you want to bring on. We've done it a few times. And if you guys are ever in Miami, I keep on telling all the guys this, we'd love to have you guys come into the studio. So if we want to plan that out and make it a trip, or if you've got an event going on in South Florida, come into the studio. It's a lot more fun that way.
That sounds great.
All right.
Awesome.
All right, Amy, thank you for joining us. We're going to get back to the show. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Welcome back, guys. I hope that you can support. Go check them out. If you can't get out to the gala, go ahead and donate online. Go to WeDefyFoundation.org. And, you could do something like donate $5 a month and just do a recurring donation. All right. Last but not least, again, Fight Back CBD. Get 20% off your CBD order at fightbackcbd.com with code JJD. Again, I'm Milton, Uncle Milty BJJ on IG.
John Way Martial Arts.
What's your IG?
John Way _official.
And what's the gym's IG?
John Way Martial Arts.
Oh, there you go.
That's
okay. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. John, thank you for coming out. Oos. Doo, doo, doo.